Also, we're down at Oaklawn Park as well. Good promotion over at Naira Bets, and let's try and make some money before the big game tonight.
Early pick 5 yesterday at Oaklawn paid just shy of $50,000.
Was not me.
They've had some incredible payoffs. They got a pick 4 that starts here in race 2. It's a 2-turn mile 40 claiming race. Horses who have not won 2 lifetime. Let's check in with Paula Duca for more.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday to you, Greg, as well, Anthony. Actually, a very good race card here at Oaklawn, 9-race card here. And the racetrack has been labeled fast today. Now, it does have a tiny bit of moisture in it, and we'll see how it plays. Now, the first race, a first-time starter came from like 15 lengths out of it to win the race. Now, I don't know if it was just because the rest of the field was not that good, but the favorite ran second to 1 at even money, but the 2 got the job done, and another on their way to another big payout maybe in this early pick 5. Now to get to race 2, when you look at this race, the 3 is the horse that everybody at least stands out for me, for Cipriano Contreras, who's having a wonderful meet. And whenever he puts De La Cruz on, they're usually very live. This horse drops for 40,000, and you know the time that this horse had been in for 30, had just missed a couple times in the maiden special weight, but then broke his maiden at Indiana. The last 2 races, the horse is not broken well, needs to break a little bit better today. The 2 get through. Claim for Chris Hartman. Man, this guy has been hot as a pistol. And this is a horse, again, that comes from way out of it and just got left last time. Martin Garcia, usually an aggressive jockey, now goes to Francisco Arrieta, who's actually not an aggressive jockey. So maybe, you know, get through, will just sit back. The 5 Pittsburgh, it's very interesting who's going to get to the front in here because there's a lot of closers. The 5 Pittsburgh coming in from Southern California with a giant buyer, but he was 2-5 that day. He was supposed to win. Is he going to get to the front end here and get the job done? I also thought Brooklyn Diamonds was interesting. Rudy Brissett has been on fire. So you can see the board is all over the place. Even the 7 is taking money. Happy Boy Rocket, because the blinkers are going on and maybe people thinking that this horse can get to the front end or improve off Riley Mott, which I think Riley's got a live horse in this pick 5 sequence in race number 4. So at the end of the day, I'm going to land on the 2 get through in here. I think this horse will improve. I do think the 3 is the horse to beat at 5-2.
All right, Paulie, thanks for that. 5-2 favorite is the 3 Jolly Tommy. You know, 4 Brooklyn Diamonds, who's on your screen right now on the left-hand side. I thought made a great appearance. This horse actually liked the other day. Scratched out of that spot, goes here instead. And, you know, this horse won first time out. Ran second in a tough spot. It was in the mud, then the slop, and he went to the bench. We'll see. Dropping down in class, I thought he'd be a major factor here.
I love this horse today.
Brooklyn Diamonds.
Yeah. Second off the 6 months. Back to the place the horse broke his made. I know last time, like I said, dropping down. Second off that long break. The barn, like Paul said, is on a really good run right now. I can't believe the price this horse is. I thought this horse would be co-favorite in here.
9-2 right now. Talking about the 4 Brooklyn Diamonds. Second off the layoff, Rudolph Brissett. In hot start indeed. 40% from limited starters to this meet here in Hot Springs. Favorite, though, the 3 Jolly Tommy. Pick 4 begins in this race. Let's go to Vic Stauffer.
They're at the post. They're off. Pittsburgh and Treaty break best. Jolly Tommy is close up. Mr. Creed in the center. Then Happy Boy Rocket get through, and the early trailer is Brooklyn Diamonds. It is Pittsburgh and Treaty at the clubhouse turn. Treaty's ahead in front. Pittsburgh is second by 2 lengths to Jolly Tommy. He is traveling comfortably and smartly in third. Wants to go up after the leaders. Jolly Tommy sits third for Walter De La Cruz. Then comes Mr. Creed, who's moved from the outside of the rail. Nice move there by Gabe Saez, and he's 2 from the front as well. Get Through is 4 lengths behind, and at the back of the pack are both Brooklyn Diamonds and Happy Boy Rocket. Treaty, the boss up the backstretch. It is Treaty, now a full length in front of Pittsburgh in second. Mr. Creed is a clear-cut third now, while Jolly Tommy continues to travel well. He's 4th and 2 from the front. At the back of the pack is a lineup of 3. They are Get Through, Brooklyn Diamonds, and Happy Boy Rocket. Into the far turn. Finish line is the 16th pole. No change in the top two with Treaty and Pittsburgh. Treaty is a neck in front. Pittsburgh is second. Now Jolly Tommy makes his move 3 wide. He's in the blue and white. Jolly Tommy within a neck of the front. 2.5 now back to Get Through, and Get Through's got some run in the white blinkers. He looks for a way through. Then to the outside in Mr. Creed, new leader, top of the stretch, Jolly Tommy, and he takes charge. Jolly Tommy is now suddenly 3 lengths in front of Mr. Creed, Get Through, and Treaty. Final 16th of a mile, Jolly Tommy well in front, and Walter De La Cruz trying to sweep the double, and he's got it done. Get Through is second. Jolly Tommy in front. Jolly Tommy beat Get Through. Treaty was third, maybe Brooklyn Diamonds for fourth.
Jolly Tommy, favorite, starts this early pick 4 at Oaklawn. And as you heard, early double goes to Walter De La Cruz.
Yeah, good trip under De La Cruz here. Just was able to get first jump. Mentioned the short stretch. They could have been the 16th pole, the wire, the 7, 16. Wouldn't have mattered here. This horse just got the job done today. Public got it right. I thought this board was bet strangely. They had it pegged perfectly. 2-1 favorite beats the 5-2 second choice.
Here's what we have coming up for you this afternoon. Presented by Claiborne Farm. Races 4 through 9. Pick 6 at Aqueduct, where we are fast. It is fast, as Paulie mentioned, at Oaklawn. And races 3 through 7 still to come, including that late pick 5 in race number 5. You can play it all by getting signed up, started, play along with Naira Bets. Go to nairabets.com. Get that $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. That's the offer with that promo code right there, match 200. And bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Again, nairabets.com. Feature later today here in New York, race 8 on the card. 1-turn mile in this New York bred first allowance condition. Going to take a look at this field here coming up. Interesting horse taken out. Uno not going to run in here. Late Night Larry, can that Laurel form transfer from that win last time out? If it can, the rest of this field could be in trouble.
Feels like there's some randomness from the Brittany Russell barn when these horses ship up the Jersey Turnpike from her Laurel base. She won 100 races last year overall, good for over 20%. Sometimes they show up, more often than not they don't here on the circuit. They just spent $4,000 for this horse, this son of Not This Time, who ran out of condition last time. What that means is this horse is eligible for races for horses that have not won 2 races lifetime. He won a race for horses that hadn't won 3 races lifetime. So he jumped a condition, got the job done at 4.5, almost 4.5 to 1, and he got the job done easily, Greg. He's improved in each and every one of his starts on the Beyer speed figure scale. Now he faces New York breds for the first time. He runs on our circuit for the first time. It's an interesting move. He's going to cut back from 2-turn mile in a 16 to a 1-turn race, and we'll see. He's going to be forward in here. You mentioned the scratch of Uno being interesting. I think it helps his cause as opposed to hurts it today.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm certainly some questions to answer in here, but I like the fact it's sort of lightly raced and really seems to be moving in the right direction.
Yeah, he like I said, there seems to be a little bit of a randomness to the Barnes horses that come up the turnpike. We'll see how the pace set up, and I think a little bit of a jump up in class suits him today.
Pick 6 begins in this race, the 4th at Aqueduct, mile and an eighth, $20,000 maiden claiming race, and 3-5 on a maiden who is 0 for 8 for Rudy Rodriguez, Manny Francu. We'll talk about maybe some other alternatives in this spot. Public all over, though. This 4-year-old son, a street boss, trying to break through here in start number 9 to kick off this pick 6. We'll be back.
DeMarchelier offers breeders a rare opportunity as the only son of Dubawi standing in Kentucky. Dubawi, one of the world's most celebrated stallions, is now a sire of sires. His top sons at stud are making a name for themselves across the globe. With a picture-perfect pedigree, this son of Dubawi brings one of the world's most potent bloodlines to America. DeMarchelier, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Danzig was with Woody Stevens special that he called Seth one day after he was 3 for 3 and was fast and had a problem and looked like he was going to have to retire him, and said, "You need to stand this horse." And he talked him into doing it, and he turned out to be one of the premier stallions of his time.
Danzig's one of the legends of Claiborne, and his influence is far and wide throughout the thoroughbred gene pool today. And you'll look through and see a great influence of Danzig, and we're just trying to keep it going here at Claiborne with Silver State, War of Will, and Warfront. So we feel like we're in a great position, especially with War of Will and Silver State, to keep it going. We love War of Will's foals. Like I said, Silver State has a great book of mares, and he's going to have a really big chance of continuing that legacy.
The Danzig line 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people weren't sure what it was going to do. And it's still continuing on with Hard Spun and Warfront, who now the sons of Warfront are looking like they could be really okay on a number of fronts. So that was one of the reasons for War of Will, plus the fact he won a classic on the dirt with the Preakness, and then come back and win a grade 1 on the dirt or on the turf at a mile. So he's a big, pretty horse. He's gotten well supported, and Mr. Barber's bred a lot of very, very nice mares to him, and the offspring are good so far.
Claiborne Stallion, son of Blame, getting a win on the Derby Trail yesterday, litigating that Sam F. Davis. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Proud to have Claiborne as a sponsor of the program. Pick 6 coming up. We're approaching the 5-minute mark to post here again. 20 maiden claiming race, 2 turns, mile and an eighth, and Dylan Davis getting set to outboard Tiger Town Boy at 5-1, 3-5 on a horse who's 0 for 8. See Dylan leading the way here. Man right behind him's on the favorite here coming up.
Sister Katie just got the job done on our Broadway with Funny How, 5 in a row. Now for Funny How, she did not amuse anybody. She was not a clown today, my friend. She got the job done in our Broadway, and Dylan leads Manny Franco, who took our Withers yesterday. Kendrick on the bench right now on the sidelines. He'll be gone another couple, 3 weeks. Wish him the best. Yeah, 3-5. Could you imagine taking? I embarrassingly picked this horse.
I mean, maybe it's just more of condemnation of the rest of this field, I would think. Here's Red Jet, who's 0 for 13.
0 for 13. He has been beaten a combined 97 lengths in his last 3 starts.
Golden Purchase, Jackie Davis at 7-1.
Yeah. 2 starts back, this horse actually finished 3rd, made up some ground late in the game. First start around 2 turns on the dirt since October of last year.
Poppy on ice, Randy Prasad trains.
To the board in just 3 of 14 tries. These are the races this barn wins. There's just a randomness to it. This horse is going to get around 2 turns for the first time.
Here's Tiger Town Boy and Dylan. Rob Atras second off the claim.
Second start for the Atras barn. This horse couldn't get out of his own way, and the Danny Gargan barn did not fare much better last time out for Rob.
Lefties War 13-1. Was second in the mud going a mile 2 back.
Big effort at 68-1 2 back. That race was run over a wet track. Another horse. He's going to stretch back out. He tried 2 turns one time up at Saratoga. That didn't go well at all.
Got the same buyer in that big 1-2 back that this horse got last time out. Proven Hope. Here's the heavy favorite.
Yeah, he's going to try to go route of ground, another one. His mile race last time out would seemingly put a hurting on this field.
And North Pole wants to be forward. He has been, or hit the board, I should say, in 12 of 18 starts. It's a big price on him.
Greg, I almost pulled the trigger in picking North Pole today. 0 for 18 with 12 second and third place finishes combined when it was all said and done. My hand didn't tremble enough for me to write 7 instead of 6.
3-5 favorite. Next door, Proven Hope. Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale for more.
Anthony, steady. That's right. I'm picking the 7, North Pole, very reluctantly. But I just felt like it's a lesser of the two evils considering the price. As we'll take a look at your heavy favorite in here, Proven Hope, who definitely looks the part as a favorite. I can't fault him whatsoever. He's really well muscled. Last time he didn't break that well going the mile, and he was last leaving the chute, then kind of went up behind a slow pace. And he was really the only one to make up ground on a horse in Norgay, who I thought was just much the best and by far the horse to beat that day. So there's really nothing wrong with Proven Hope, and I think he should be okay at the distance. I will be honest, maybe that's the one slight knock against him, is that he is physically not the most well suited to this 9 furlongs, but still, I 3 to 5, okay. I'll take 7 to 2 on the 0 for 18. We'll see if number 19 is the charm. And this North Pole, number 7, is the poster child of how tough the racing game to be. Purchased for over $1 million way back when as a yearling, and has yet to get the job done. Though this is his first time trying the 9 furlongs here, and I think he could be really comfortable at it. He's built to be that way. He's gonna have to do it from the outside. And you know, I think jockeys are playing a little bit into the price disparity here with Manny Franco being on Proven Hope. But North Pole with Frankie Pennington, I hope he's aggressive. And I think this guy could just settle into a nice stride. I know it's counterintuitive, a horse that can't seal the deal with an easy lead going a mile, but sometimes they just get to gallop along and grind a field into the ground. So that's what I'm hoping here with North Pole. Another horse that at least physically fits the bill here is number 5, Lefty's War. Is going to be a decent price. 2 back did run a figure that would be very competitive here, but the thing with Lefty's War, and I don't want to be too negative, is that he's a double-digit odds horse, is that he moves more like a turf horse, and I just feel like that sealed surface played into his mechanics more favorably than a little bit of a looser, fast surface than what we're seeing here today. But still, I want to give a little bit of a nod to Greg, because physically he fits well with the top 2 choices.
Thanks, Maggie. I mean, he's a tough call because he's shown up once in his 8 starts, and it was a muddy racetrack.
And like Maggie said, that sealed track, it emulates turf a little bit, much more so than an open, harrowed racetrack like we have here today. Yeah, he was the 3rd horse, clearly. And, you know, if you're going to take a flyer, I talk about this all the time, one of my closest friends, my buddy Phil, he would never take 3 to 5 on Proven Hope or 3 to 1 on North Pole. Certainly wouldn't take 3 to 1 on North Pole because of all the chances. He would take a flyer on a horse like Lefty's War. And if you are one of those people that like to play every race, Lefty's War is probably the horse you want to take the flyer with in here. I don't think anyone can knock you. So Jess's Dream Sire, the winner of the Suncoast yesterday, at a huge price, upsetting both Wonder Wheel and Julia Shining. So
disappointing comeback for the 2-year-old champion filly.
I don't think Wonder Wheel will ever beat Julia Shining again, my friend.
We'll see.
I don't think that'll ever happen again on a racetrack. So, but yeah, you know, it's funny when you're sitting up here, or you're like Maggie and you're down in the paddock. You know, we need to justify our selection a little bit. That's what handicapping basically is. It's justification. Proven Hope has run 1 time for $20,000. He got beat 5 lengths. He didn't break that cleanly. You know, maybe a cleaner break puts him in the game, and I don't know. He's also never been around 2 turns. And like Maggie said about North Pole, it is a little counterintuitive. Well, he can't seal the deal at a mile. He can't seal the deal at 7 furlongs. He's gotten caught on the wire numerous times going the mile and a variety of distances. What makes you think? Sometimes it's just easier on them. They can just lope along. And, you know, that's certainly what these horses loping is something this field of 7 has done.
Break their spirit a little bit. There's not much behind you. Proven Hope, obviously, the 6, the 4 to 5 favorite now is one that maybe can at least not let you get too far away. But yeah, Frankie Pennington is aggressive and tries to get some separation here. See how far North Pole can go.
Maggie moves the board, Greg. They were 1 to 2 and 5 to 1 when Maggie started talking, and now they're 4 to 5 and 2 to 1. Maybe Maggie's just unloading in her Naira Bets account down in the paddock. Who knows?
You were never going to get 5 to 1 on.
No, I mean it shouldn't have had. They're very close to David Aragona's morning line now.
He's as good as it gets.
Yep.
4-5. We'll see if it's a chalky start to this pick six.
Almost 57,000 in that pool today.
Did you find singles elsewhere down the card?
I didn't find single. I don't think I really found a single anywhere today. How could you single Proven Hope or North Pole? I would. You're brave. You're very brave if you single either one of these steeds today.
Here we go. Pick six time. Chris Griffin to get us started. 2 turns, mile and an eighth coming up.
All in line. All set. And they're off, and hopping in the air at the start was North Pole, broke last. Red Jets hustled along towards the inside. There's Golden Purchase in the early mix. Also Tiger Town Boy, Lefty's War, and out wider is Proven Hope. It's a scramble on for the front, and now Proven Hope and Manny Franco, they will try and cross over and get that rail position. They're up by a full length. It's Golden Purchase who's back to second. Tiger Town Boy is in the 3-path now, is in third. Out wider, North Pole is making a big move now, and North Pole is getting up with the leaders after braking slowly, is about to challenge for the lead as they work to the backstretch. Also in there is Lefty's War. That's the leading 5. It's another 3. Back to Pappy on Ice, and far back, broke on top, was Red Jet, who's now the trailer. 25 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. Proven Hope has got the lead. It's Proven Hope. North Pole having to work to get there, but North Pole is within range, is now 3/4 of a length off this leader, stalking from second. Golden Purchase is down towards the inside of Lefty's War. Tiger Town Boy starts to lose ground. Pappy on Ice is trying to rally on from the back of the field, and Red Jet is double digits. The trailer, they approach the half-mile pole. 50-1 for that half-mile time. The front 2 are getting away. It's Proven Hope and North Pole. Proven Hope with a half length in front of North Pole. 6 lengths back to Golden Purchase, who's all in. Lefty's War. Pappy on Ice is starting a rally now. It's Pappy on Ice, who's still 8 off the lead, is trying to catch the leading duo. Far back, it's Red Jet. Proven Hope is in front, North Pole. Pappy on Ice is making a move. They went 1:15 and 4. 4 3/4 of a mile. They've got a quarter mile left to go. Proven Hope is trying to take them all the way. It's Proven Hope who's finding a touch more. North Pole is just grinding away up on the outside. Can Pappy on Ice catch the top 2? They approach the final furlong. It's Proven Hope, North Pole. Pappy on Ice continues this rally. Pappy on Ice is going to be on the grandstand side. It's Proven Hope, North Pole. Pappy on Ice still the grandstand side. 3 horses down to the line. Proven Hope, Pappy on Ice. Pappy on Ice is in front, lugging in. Pappy on Ice gets the score. Pappy on Ice over Proven Hope, North Pole, and Golden Purchase in 1 minute 57.97 seconds.
Carryover, maybe one leg into this pick six. 26-1, Pappy on Ice, just grinding and grinding away on the favorite.
Amin Castillo. This is, I believe, his first win on the circuit. I don't think it's his first win ever. He's not an apprentice. Amin has been getting on horses for Rudy Rodriguez, amongst others, for many years around here. And it's good to see Amin get to the winner's circle. I joked around in the post parade saying, these are the races Randy Prasad wins. But quite frankly, these are the races Randy Prasad wins. These races that have no rhyme or reason, they result in chaos. And there he is, getting a lot of congratulations. Amin is, he's a good guy. He's an excellent exercise rider in the morning. He just has not had a lot of success in the afternoons. You see this horse is lugging in with him a little bit through the stretch, but he gets the job done at a huge price.
Fantastic to see that huge number. You asked me the final time.
I
prediction.
I would have lost a lot of money
Nailed
on
it.
this. This might be shorter than the national anthem tonight.
157.97 for the mile and an eighth. Pappy on Ice, huge upset to start things off in this pick six with an odds-on favorite defeated. And the second biggest price on the board, the victory at 26-1. We're going to take a timeout when we return. Big Saturday on the road to the Kentucky Derby. Brad Cox and Hit Show on the Withers. Todd Pletcher, of course, in the Sam F. Davis for a record 7th time. We'll look back when we come back. Back with you on America's Day at the Races. Poppy on ice. Nice moment here for Amin Castillo, Randy Prasad Barn at 26-1 to start the pick six here on the Sunday card at Aqueduct.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Right around the 3/8 fall, Frankie Pennington had the audacity to look back on North Pole. 0 for 18. He took a peek back to see what was behind him. And Poppy on ice was revving up, as the great Tom Durkin would say, to come home the final 3/8 of a mile in 42-1.
15th time finally breaks through. And keeping in line with what Dad did,
There's Randy.
upset special, Keen Ice, son of Keen Ice here. One of the great upsets we've seen in recent memory at Saratoga.
Well, I mean, top 10 for sure.
Beating a Triple Crown champion, American Pharoah. And now his son here, Poppy on ice, not quite same pomp and circumstance in a 20 maiden claimer, but big win nevertheless for those connections. We go to Oaklawn, race 3. 6 furlong sprint, $10,000 maiden claiming sprint ahead. Let's go to Paulie for more. Impoverished the 8, Paulie, the one to beat right now.
Yeah, and when you look at Impoverished, he is the one to beat in here, Greg. His 2 races do stack up against this group. He's a horse that's gone towards the front end, battled a couple times, and he's run 2 really good races against full fields. And to note also, he was on the inside in both of those races in the 2 and the 3 hole. Now he draws the outside with Christian Torres. And when you look at the 9, 10, 11, 12, there's not much speed in any of those horses. So I think he's going to break out of there and see what happens. The other speed in here could be the 2, and that is Hard Scramble in here for Isaac Castillo and Martin Villafranco. This horse put blinkers on last time for the 30, now drops for 15, but just missed when dueling. And another horse that is going to be forwardly placed. The 7, to me, Campisi, if there is a speed duel, blinkers do go on. But this horse that has shown that he can make up some ground. The issue has been he just can't get out of the gate. He's gotten out of the gate one time, but the other time he was sort of bothered and a horse cut in front of him. So 3 starts, he really has just been lagging out of the gate. Maybe the blinkers will help him here a little bit. The 5, the wild card in here, he's rich for Al Cates. This horse was 13-1 first time out in a maiden special weight, drops to 15 immediately. I don't know if that's a bad sign or a good sign. Maybe they were always just setting this horse up for this this race. The sire's only a $1,500 sire, and this horse did show some speed. And at 9-1, maybe worth a look. But when you look at the race, Greg, the 8's the one to beat in here. I think I'll give a little bit of a long shot look to the 7. So I'm 8-7, 8-7-2-ish in here.
Paulie, thanks. Yeah, I thought the 7 was interesting. That horse dropping in for a tag for the first time. Blinkers go on today. And then maybe the 11, too. The horse was dead last out of the gate in that debut for State Bred Maiden 30. Did make up a little bit of ground. Ron Moquette, second time out.
I'll tell you what, that's a tough running line. The chart callers down there, they're a tough bunch. Off, slow, improved, hung. Oof. That's harsh. Hung. Who hangs getting beat 7 legs, finishing 6th? What they hang for? Hang on what money? Wow. That's I wouldn't want to have an open mic night in front of them. I'll tell you that. This is a weird race. This is a really weird race. The 2, Hard Scrabble. Big Scrabble fan, by the way. Like to play Scrabble?
No, I haven't played for years, but I love it.
Big fan. This horse ran the best race of his career in his 3 starts. Off of a long break. And he cuts in half. And now he's not, and off of that effort, Greg, he's really not taking any money. I mean, I kind of liked him coming in, but he's kind of dead on the board at 4 to 1, now 7-2. I mean, I know there's 90 seconds left to get your bets in, 2 minutes left to get your bets in, but I know he's a 5-year-old too. He's only made 3 starts, didn't debut until his 4-year-old season, but I thought he would take more money than that. I didn't like the fact that he was dropping off of that race, because that race was a pretty good race. I mean, He's 15 down to 10. That's a.
I don't know if he's
tough.
forward like he was last time out, and it was off a long layoff too. You would expect improvement. Now going the right way if you like him at 4-1, but the 8's going to be there with him, if not in front of him. But that might be fine if he can sit just off him.
Yeah, I'm. You know what interests me a little bit in here, especially at the price of 9, Mr. Works. Blinkers come off after the debut. It's a little hard to handle first time out. John Araldo looking for his first win down there. Jason Barkley not having the easiest time of it, just 2 for 20. But this horse, the blinkers come off. He's a big price. He took a little money first time out. He was 9-1. Now he cuts in half. Now that drop makes sense because he had some issues first time out, but they're going to make a little equipment adjustment. Jock stays, little equipment adjustment, big price. He'd be a horse I would want to mess around with if I was playing some exotics in here at 16-1.
All right, we'll get back to this race in a moment. Meanwhile, at Aqueduct, pick 6 again, 26-1 start. Poppy on ice from well off the pace when it looked like Proven Hope. And he had left the field behind, but this horse did not quit. Comes and gets him.
And by the way, according to Equibase, this is Amin's first winner of his career. So congratulations to Amin.
In the U.S.
Yeah. I mean, from far, far back. He won in the Dominican Republic, apparently. It was first American win. Yeah, congratulations to Amin. Of course, came from far, far back. Did not have a ton of pace to close into, but, enjoyed the extra ground today. Just certainly enjoyed the fact that he had those 2 caballos in front of him to run down. I'll tell you what, if you had to pick a maiden to run down, you were definitely picking North Pole. Proven Hope's on the list as well, I would think, after that. North Pole's number 1.
$54 starts to the pick 6, and I think a lot of people are going to be regrouping and playing this late pick 5 now.
We'll see if he's going to get the business. Yeah, he's going to get the business. No
Look
business.
out, here it comes.
Nope, that was it.
Not doused, huh?
I'm going to tell you what the problem is. Kendrick's not here. Kendrick would have hit him with something. Kendrick would have got
We'll have to
him.
make sure that happens
Yeah.
before the day is done. Back to Oaklawn. Congratulations to him on that victory. So here we go back in Hot Springs loading up. It is the 8, Impoverished. Still the one to beat on the board here at 2-1. And outside of the 2, who do you think puts pressure on here, if anyone?
This is a wild tote board, and I mean, it looks like the 2 favorites are going to have it to themselves on the front end. Maybe the blinkers and the drop for Campisi make him aggressive. I don't know. It's a weird race, Greg. You don't need me to sit here and say that to you folks, but it's a weird race. The more I keep looking at it, the more I wanted to. Mr. Works at that price, at 19, the number 9 at 19-1. That's way too big of a price, and just because at that price at 12-1. Those are the 2 horses I would try to get into the exact of the 9 and the 11.
Yeah, Keith Asma's on Just Because, getting him out for someone other than Dad here, riding for Ron Moquette. I thought that 11, yeah, he's interesting here at 12-1. We'll see how this plays out. Third from Oaklawn, here's Vic Stauffer.
They're at the post. They're off. Good start for He's Rich and Impoverished. Campisi's close up. Hardscrabble is at the rail. Then comes Toast to Coast with Vying Edge and My Kind of Teton. Loud Boy and Mr. Works are next, then Finbar Fury and Riante Sky. The trailer is Just Because. He's Rich and Impoverished quickest to the half-mile marker. He's Rich, a neck in front. Impoverished is second, a tight length to Hard Scrabble, who's full of run at the rail in third. Then Campisi fourth and about 2.5 from the front, 3 back to Vying Edge. Toast to Coast has 6 lengths to make up. He's 2 in front of My Kind of Teton, Loud Boy, and Mr. Works. Finbar Fury has double digits to make up, and he's 4 in front of the 2 trailers, Just Because and Riante Sky. He's Rich, and now now Campisi. Impoverished is backed out. Impoverished is gone. So Campisi is the new leader at the top of the stretch. He's a length in front of He's Rich in second. Then Vying Edge on debut. And here comes Vying Edge outside of Campisi. And Vying Edge has now taken the lead. He's 2 lengths in front of Campisi in second. Toast to Coast is next in hard scrabble, but Vying Edge is now just running up the score. Vying Edge, Campisi, and Toast to Coast. Vying Edge in front. Vying Edge won by 5. Campisi was second, Toast to Coast third. Finbar Fury finished fourth.
Vying Edge, first-time starter for a barn that's having a hot start to be Tom Swearingen at a big price.
You and I sat here, talked to Paul. We're trying to make cases for the horses that had run. None of them had run particularly well. And we lit a firster for a barn that's winning at over 30%. With a rider that's having a sneaky good meet, sneaking 0-2 fastball on the inside corner past us. This horse was 20-1 on the morning line in a race where we kept talking about how weird the tote board was. Half the morning line at 10-1. Common gallop. A common gallop this horse won in.
Yeah, one as easy as could be. Well, those prices coming up. Late pick 5. I think a lot of people going after this one today. If you played the pick 6, many are out. So we start over. N3L 6 furlongs. That's the horse to beat.
It's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKenzie. McKenzie in a dominant performance.
300 Wanda, 300,000. 275, ED 275,000. 75, but to get 75, 275,000. 250, Ralph now, 250,000. Able to get $200,000.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Consistently versatile with 25 Grade 1 winners on every surface from 6 furlongs to 1 1/4 miles all over the world.
Switzerland in the Dubai Golden Shaheen. Switzerland wins.
Churls Fight running on. Mason in front. Churls Fight on the outside. At the wire. Photo for the win.
Olympiad gets the gold in the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
All purpose, all places, all power. Speightstown.
Would you believe that champions weren't measured by rings, but by a crown? That the history books were written on dirt? That the greatest of all time was a horse?
He is moving like a tremendous machine.
Experience the magic at this year's Belmont Stakes as we honor the 50th anniversary of Secretariat's legendary Triple Crown triumph. Join the celebration at Belmont Park on Saturday, June 10th. Tickets on sale now at BelmontStakes.com.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage on this Sunday afternoon. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net. Today it was a big Saturday on the road to the Kentucky Derby and the Oaks for that matter. Here in New York, rescheduled Grade 3 Withers. Canceled last week because of that frigid temperatures we had here. Hit show showing up for Brad Cox under Manny Franco.
Manny gave this horse a nice ride. He saved some ground with him. Tipped around Arctic Arrogance, who got softened up early. Was able to just draw away in the end here. There wasn't even a real tussle here for Hit Show. By the time the 8th pole hits, he's a length and a half, 2 lengths to the good, and he's going to improve his margin going down to the wire. 5-length win when all's said and done here. Nice finish, good effort. I don't think Arctic Arrogance was embarrassed in defeat. Probably just has some distance limitations.
Yeah, they've said Connections, Little Rice say they're going to cut him back to the Gotham probably at a mile next time out.
Makes sense. A lot of New York bred races for him as well. And I'm sure Open Company is in his future at some point, but a lot of options for him. And,
what do you think about this horse as a true Derby contender?
I think he's still learning, Greg. I appreciate the question. think he's still learning a little bit. I think even that last 1/8 of a mile, last 16th of a mile, he's still showing you that he's green's the wrong word, but it's the first word that comes to mind. I think he's still trying to figure things out a little bit here. I think he showed that in the race in Kentucky when he got beat. But, I mean, he's done very little wrong.
There's that New York Road to the Derby, going to cut back to a mile, and the Gotham next out, then the Wood, which Hit Show potentially could wind up in next. Let's get Maggie's thoughts on what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I like Hit Show moving forward. And you look at, the gaps within the Withers field yesterday, and there were some big ones. So that just asserts his dominance over this field as he earned that 91 Beyer speed figure, which is one of the best that we've seen thus far in the Derby preps to the road to that first Saturday in May. And I don't want to say I disagree with Anthony because, yeah, this was only his 4th start, but I thought he showed a lot of professionalism to run up behind horses whilst on the inside, wait, tip out, run on, and with the ears pricked at the end, just indicated to me that there was a lot more stamina left in the tank. So once we get out to the 1.25 mile distance of the Derby, I really don't think he would have that many problems. I like him as a physical. He's not an overly big horse, but he's very athletic. Everything is where it needs to be. He certainly has the pedigree to suggest that he could be a Derby contender, Greg.
Franco, thanks, Maggie. Had to pull him up, too. I mean, he was galloping out even further, so Connections believe longer with this horse going to be even better.
And I agree with everything Maggie said. I loved everything he did. And then once he got alone, to me, he just misbehaved a little bit. But I think she's 100% right. The fact that he took some dirt, he was in behind horses. Some of those other races he was in, he just kind of was left to himself, left by himself. That race yesterday, he did do a lot of things professionally. Then at the end, it just not turned off by any means. Certainly looks like distance is going to be his friend. I'll be curious to see what he does. And the other thing that impressed me a lot with that Beyer fig, there are these 10-point increments now with every start for him. So that shows that he is learning.
Meanwhile, Sam F. Davis, otherwise known as the Todd Pletcher Invitational, same trend continues. He does it again. Already had a record 6 wins, adds to that total with number 7 here with Litigate. Very lightly raced, just the 3rd start of his career, and now he adds a grade 3.
I liked this effort a lot yesterday. This horse was drawn outside, obviously. He's the number 11. He never got to save an inch of ground, and he just kept on grinding away. This was by no means a flashy effort. This was considered, I would consider this far more workmanlike than anything else. But you know what? 3rd start, first time around 2 turns, first time over the track. I think you have to like everything about this race. It did not come up very fast. That's the thing you can dislike. So when I say you have to like everything, that's the one thing you could take away. And most people say, well, that's the most important thing. I think there's a lot of room for improvement here.
Alarmingly slow, yes, for this horse to figure that he would become a contender. But he's from a barn that they get better with one of the best trainers in the history of the sport.
They make up a lot of ground in a short amount of time over at the Todd Pletcher barn. So I wouldn't be as worried about him as I would be with some other barns. So I'm very excited to see what Litigate does in his next start and where it is.
Fun Saturday we had. Take a look at the upcoming road to the Derby. This gets more and more serious from here. The 50-point races are next. Risen Star, Rebel. We'll have live coverage from Hot Springs, Fountain of Youth, where I believe Forte will be making his return. And the Gotham cutting back to a mile, as mentioned, here in New York on March 4th. Late pick 5. We have a late scratch in this race. Sequence begins, 6 furlong sprint, 14 claiming race, all for sale for that price. Horses who have not won 3 lifetime. The 7, the 8 was already out. The 7, a late scratch as well. Who I thought was a little interesting here. Might have shown some speed. He's gone, though. Here's Bell's on her toe. She's gone, I should say. 4-year-old filly.
Failed to hit the board in 5 tries since being claimed from Charlie Baker back in the summer at the Spa. One of her 2 wins came here at Aqueduct.
More Mango, 14-1. Jimmy Ferraro trains.
Yeah, another one. She's probably better on the turf as both of her wins have come on the grass. She's 0 for 6, having not hit the board on the dirt.
Here's Swedish Sugar, 3-5 favorite.
Should be loose on the front end here for Jeremiah Engelhardt. She was 2nd last time out in her first starts in September.
Cupid's Charismatic Cutie, Jose Lezcano, Michael Trombetta.
The first start off about 2.5 months. Blinkers went on last time to no avail. They stay on as she makes her first start on the circuit.
And here's London Gold, Jose Gomez, First day without the bug for the outstanding apprentice rider.
The Randy Man.
Can he go back to back?
Looks
here?
to go back to back. Well, so this one's 3-1. Some people would say this is way too short of a price for Randy to get the job done. But this filly's run some decent enough races to get the job done. She should be camped right outside of the favorite.
Here's the one to beat, though, and the one to catch. You would think Sweet as Sugar. Deserving favorite. Dylan Davis knows the job in front of him here and got helped a little bit too with the horses that did come out in this spot. Certainly the 7 and the 2, the only ones that looked like they could put pressure on this filly.
Yeah, her job was made easier this morning when the DACA came out. Her job was made easier about 12 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, when Easy Play was announced that she was not going to be playing today. She's supposed to get an easy enough lead in here, Greg. I would imagine Jose Gomez is going to have to keep London Gold closer to the pace. Who knows if that's going to be even enough. I will say this. The filly on the screen right now had 2 races at Finger Lakes in June and July of last year that would thrash her 4 rivals today. But she is clearly not the same since that day in July. Her 3 races since then have not been close. And maybe the tank just emptied out that day.
For more, even money on Swedish Sugar.
Yeah.
Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the late scratch of Easy Play, she unfortunately did flip over while saddling within the stalls, and that results in a late scratch, just erring on the side of caution. As we'll take a look at your current favorite with number 4, Sweet as Sugar. And yeah, I mean, her kind of fall from grace, so to speak, is a little bit concerning, but I thought despite earning a slow figure last time, the effort in this condition was a decent one, as she was having to come back from off a layoff, and she was part of the pace while on the inside. She easily put away the other speed, and I thought ran on fairly gamely behind the winner, who just pulled the perfect trip last time in Left Leaning Lucy. She's a little bit of a smaller type, and I kind of reserved my judgment for who my pick was going to be until I watched him warm up, and just watching initial kind of their first strides away from the pony as they galloped off the right way, it definitely went to Sweet as Sugar, because number 5, Cupid's Charismatic Cutie, just took a little while to get going. And she's going to have to overcome a bit of a layoff. Now, last time when we saw her in that PA bred allowance race, the favorite fell to her face and unseated the jockey. So it kind of left for some chaotic results in which the winner, she was 17-1. She rode the rail around there. So did Cupid's Charismatic Cutie, but Cupid's Charismatic Cutie just backed up through the field. Now, she's getting an aggressive warm-up here by Jose Lascano. Front wraps do stay on. She looks incredibly fit, though, having spent nearly 3 months away from the racetrack. And she looks ready, and I like the fact that Jose is keeping her moving throughout the preliminaries here. But her lack of apparent early speed leaves some concerns, and I just think Sweet as Sugar, she's getting the free roll here on the front end. Greg?
It appears that way, and that's why she's such a short price. I mean, London Gold at least has some tactical ability, but I don't think can keep up early with Sweet as Sugar. Probably going to be sitting right behind that one.
Yeah. The race is supposed to line up 4-6, right? Whether that's what happens or not remains to be seen. I don't trust Sweet as Sugar at all. I do not trust her at all. Like I said, those 2 races at Finger Lakes, late last spring, early last summer.
She doesn't need those figures to win here, though.
No, she doesn't. Her last race probably wins. But I think London Gold can just lap on her, and I'll hope for the best at almost twice the price. That's it. I used both of them in the pick 5, late pick 5. Closing in on $175,000 in that pool. I almost forgot to opt into the promotion. This pick 5 and the late pick 5, there's $5,000 up for grabs over at Naira Bets. $2,500 in this pool and $2,500 in the late pick 5 pool at Oaklawn. So
opt in.
Yeah, that would have been a big mistake, huge for you Pretty Woman fans out there. You guys get paid on commission, right? Yep.
Your promotions page.
Yep. That's all you got to do. Very simple, and you can opt in for stuff. I think we have a Valentine's Day promo. I was at Yonkers last Valentine's Day. I might be there again this Valentine's Day. You never know where I am on Valentine's Day. It's like spin the wheel, make the deal.
You got something very special planned, I'm sure.
I don't actually. I'm not celebrating this year unless I'm at Yonkers. But yeah, this hit and split. Get yourself involved in this hit and split today. This will be my Valentine's Day treat to myself, buddy.
So if you hit this, extra $5,000 in cash that everybody's going to split. Who hits it?
That's cash, right? It's not points. Keep that in mind too. It's cash money.
I love these promotions. So good luck to everybody playing 4 to 5 on the one to catch, one to beat. Sweet as sugar. Second off a 3.5-month layoff. Should be in front. Dylan Davis, Jeremiah Engelhardt. She's got the target on her back in here. How close can London Gold stay with her under Jose Gomez? And the 5 took me a long time to figure that name out.
Yeah, it took me about 45 seconds myself. I wrote it out
45
phonetically.
seconds.
Yeah,
took me a few minutes.
When you dabble in race calling, you try and you figure them out a little quicker.
And even when I wrote it out, I'm still having trouble with it. Good luck, Chris Griffin. Cupid's charismatic cutie.
Yes.
The 5. So again, a little class relief for Michael Trombetta. There she is, the gray.
I was looking for charismatic in the pedigree. I didn't see any.
Yeah.
The late, great charismatic.
There's London Gold. We're set. Pick 5 time. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
All set. And they're off. Bells on Her Toes has early speed. There's Sweet as Sugar in the early mix with Cupid's Charismatic Cutie and London Gold. 3 across the racetrack here is starting to back up as Bells on Her Toes. The trailer, more Mango. It's Sweet as Sugar who's got the lead. It's Sweet as Sugar with a head in front of Cupid's Charismatic Cutie is right there in second. London Gold is just off of them in third. The 2 trailers at the back of the field, Bells on Her Toes and more Mango as they work into that far turn. They went 23.35 for the opening quarter mile. To the inside, it's Sweet as Sugar. To the outside, it's still Cupid's Charismatic Cutie, and the gray is ranging up on the outside. London Gold moves closer, is now within 2 of the leaders. As they approach a quarter mile left to go, Sweet as Sugar and Cupid's Charismatic Cutie, they continue to go at it. London Gold and Jose Gomez ranging up on the outside as they approach a quarter mile left to go. 47 and 4 for a half mile time. The battle continues up front. Sweet as Sugar, Cupid's Charismatic Cutie, and an oncoming London Gold. Bells on Her Toes is making up some ground here on the grandstand side. A furlong left to go. There was some pace to chase. London Gold, Sweet as Sugar battles on. Can Bells on Her Toes grab them both? Bells on Her Toes to the outside. Bells on Her Toes at a price. Bells on Her Toes over London Gold. Sweet as Sugar in 1 minute 15.54 seconds.
First 2 legs, pick 6 now, 26-1 and 15-1. Bells on Her Toes. Heeman Harkey. This was a incredibly hard filly to find.
I don't know how you find her. You know how you find her? All ball, my friend. I don't know how you find this horse. How about the pick 4? The pick 4 is paying $97,000 closing to this horse. There's an early pick 5 carryover into Friday's card, since there's no racing Thursday.
Rarely do you see that on this circuit.
The double's only $371. But
I would not complain with it. I would take it.
At this time, we'll take it. At this point, we'll take anything, buddy.
Look, I go all a lot. I use the all button a lot. I just could not, in this scenario, make a case to do it with this filly. 15-1. We're seeing some crazy results here. Back-to-back races in South Ozone Park. 3rd win from 15 tries. There had been no recent form whatsoever from this filly. 1-6-4-3 finish. We'll be back after this.
Whatever you use to predict future stallion success, breathe slowly and gaze at the desert's first great championship race. Curlin won it. So did Street Cry, Arrogate, and now, in a time even faster than Arrogate's, Mystic Guide. The cold hard fact is, after this, he was rated the best horse in the world. Mystic Guide. New to Darley.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races on FS2, post-parade, race 4 coming up. Mile and a 16th in this allowance optional claiming field, 4 to 5 on the one we will see first. Traverse, who was in the Pippin last time out, which Lovely Ride was the winner of. Won back-to-back stakes at Oaklawn before that second in the Bayacoa.
Yeah, did not have the cleanest trip. Drops back into a second-level allowance optional claimer. She had won 2 prior against non-stakes company.
Riesborg has won 2 in a row. October at Horseshoe Indy. Didn't come back till January 12th to win at Fairgrounds.
Yeah, she's done so right off of the early pace. Rafael Bejarano going to be her 3rd rider on this 2-race win streak. Now looking for 3 in a row. She's 3 for 5 at this distance as well.
It's 50 Shade Time was just second to a good one, Hidden Connection, Fairgrounds last out, and here's the 4, Family Time.
Yeah, off the board in the Pippin, off the board in the She's All In, backing against allowance foes today.
4 to 1, Queens up, distant third to Yugiri, last year's fantasy winner.
Daughter of Classic Empire of a strong hope mare going to stretch out for the first time. The added distance should help her cause.
Yeah, and 8 to 1, Forever Dreaming outside for the coach, D. Wayne Lucas.
Yeah, she's done her best work in her career on the grass. No turf at Oaklawn. Probably just getting her through the winter until she can get to Kentucky and the lawn.
4 to 5, Traverse. Is it all about the inside filly, Paulie?
Well, you know, when I read this form last night and I watched the replay, I really think that she's the one to beat in here. When you look back, she was absolutely loaded, and Francisco Arrieta was trying to wait for room up the inside, and she just didn't have any room. And if you remember on that day, Lovely Ride went gate to wire. Ice Orchid just kind of sat there, and the only horse that made up ground was Vincent Chaminade and Nacho Carrera's horse. That's, you know, the Chilean horse has been a nice horse. And, you know, Traverse, I thought, could have been a lot closer with a better trip. And if you look back at this filly's races, she's gone to the front end in 45 and 110. So, you know, you wonder with the 2, a lot of people thinking the 2 could get loose on the front end. I'm wondering if Christian Torres gets a little aggressive on the 1 and then maybe takes the traffic out of the way. Although the racetrack that we've seen so far, and Anthony hit it on the head, we completely missed the 6 in the last race, but horses have been rolling down the middle of the racetrack. So Christian's going to have to make a decision whether he's going to take back or go towards the front end. You know, the 2 in here, you guys are right, 2 in a row. This horse used to be in the Tom Amos barn. You know, I thought he caught in a very easy field last time, and they've been went very slow around the racetrack. He won at 90 cents on the dollar the time before that. His races that he's won, he's been the favorite, and those are his 3 biggest races. And I think they're kind of bit inflated, so I'm against the 2 a little bit in here. I thought the 3, you were talking about Hidden Connection. He's a nice runner. This horse always kind of gets dismissed at the window here. So I was 1-3 in here with a little bit of love to the 5. Do not dismiss this 5 first time going around 2 turns. You mentioned Uguri, hot and sultry. I mean, Norm Cassie is in love with that filly. So Queen's Up, if she takes to the 2 turns, she could be a player in here. But I also think the 1's going to be mighty hard to beat.
Public agrees. Thank you, Paulie. That's why she is 1-2. Back to the 3, though. It's 50 Shade time. Hidden Connection. Early on, when she was a 2-year-old filly, thought she could be potentially any kind, I believe, for Brett Calhoun. You see some other runners, though, on the list. She was 4th to Clairiere, who is going to come back and potentially be one of your leaders in this distaff division. She has ability. And it was only a 6-horse field, and she was 4th in that race. But to me, at 10-1, she's maybe a horse, if not to spring the upset, at least use underneath.
Yeah, her last race, at least she woke up a little bit. I think the problem is she's kind of dressed up just a touch. Queen's Up is really intriguing in here. Traverse has done her best work from just off the pace. Richborg has done her best work from just off the pace. If you kind of pull Queen's Up apart a little bit, she's never stretched out. If you take her wet track races apart and her races without the Lasix off of her card, she's a little interesting in here. Coming from the sprints, stretching out, second start off the August layoff, they're short numbers, but look at the Barnes numbers from a sprint to a route. 7 for 19 in the last 13 months. Those are good numbers, and that's a big enough sample in a short amount of time where it's a successful move. Arrieta is aggressive. He got to know the filly last time. You mentioned Ugiri. She broke from the inside last time. It completely looks like she got a lot of use out of her race last time, and she's primed for a big effort today, and she's a good price at 5-1. I'm in on the 5 Queens Up.
All right, we'll get back to this race in a moment. Price is 5th at Aqueduct. Kick off the late pick 5, and another surprising result. Bells on her toes. Where did this performance come from? Heeman Harkey. 4-year-old filly by Bellamy Road, a shocker to pay $33.60.
Yeah, this was a bit of a function of just a complete pace collapse. The 2 favorites went at it. The 3rd favorite attacked early enough, right around the quarter pole, and they were ripe for the picking. And here comes He-Man, and Bell's on her toes to get her first victory in a long while.
And as you said, carry over the pick 5, which is very, very uncommon in New York. $285,000 carryover. So that'll be to the early pick 5, correct? Next week?
That goes right to the early pick 5. Yes, we will post a ticket for that at Naira Bets. I'll get to work on that lickety split. We're drawing for that today. Today's Sunday, right? Yes, today's Sunday. Wow. It's been a long week, buddy.
You've been buried in PPs, it sounds like.
You could have ended that sentence in buried. But yes, been buried in PPs. We had a lot.
Go ahead.
But we've been doing a little beating. Everybody's been trying to beat the big A. It's been very tough.
A lot of pressure on you.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of
I
weight
just
on
trying
your
to just stave them all off. Swinging left and right at me.
Back to Oaklawn. So, 3-5 here on Traverse.
That's too short of a price.
And she's not slow. Look, she's had the lead sprinting before. The fact that she's drawn inside, she had the rail before last time out. She did not get the lead. That was in a stakes race, though. Lovely rides, quick. What are tactics today?
I don't think she goes. I think her best race was 2-back. I mean, I know her best races were last time in 2-back, and those are from off the pace. When she broke her maiden for $75,000. Let's keep that in mind. That's number 1. Number 2, she was just better than those horses. I can't believe she was 3-1 that day. It was her first time on conventional dirt. I hate using that word, but it was her first time on dirt. But her other 2 starts, the race in November, she was off the pace. And last time she was off the pace when she ran 4th in the Pippin. Her better races are from off the pace. That's why I think Queen's Up. I think Francisco Arrieta can catch the ball sleeping in here and just put this filly on the front end.
We'll see how it plays out. Back-to-back wins and then tried much tougher class relief today for Traverse, and that's why she is the odds-on favorite from that inside post. Vic Stauffer the call. Here's race 4 from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. Traverse and It's 50 Shade Time with a hard scent Richebour. Richebour wants the lead, and Bearondo sends her alongside the favorite, and these 2 match strides into the clubhouse turn. Queen's Up will sit 3rd with Richebour behind those 2, and on the front end, Richebour has taken over the lead. Richebour now a length and a half in front of Traverse, who angles back to the outside to re-engage, but it's Richebour in charge to the backstretch. Traverse is second, a length and 3/4 to Queen's Up. It's 50 Shade Time is at the rail in 4th and about 4 from the front. At the back of the pack are Family Time and Forever Dreaming. Up the backstretch with Richebour, the leader. Richebour, 3/4 of a length from Traverse, who's now alongside and much more comfortable from the outside. Richebour leads a measured half length. Traverse is second by 3 lengths now to Queen's Up and It's 50 Shade Time. Family Time is 5th with 5 lengths to close. Forever Dreaming is the trailer, and Richebour is still the leader. Richebour to the 3 furlong marker, 3/4 of a length in front of Traverse in second. Then to the outside in Queen's Up. 50 Shades Time, It's 50 Shade Time is at the rail in 4th and 3 from the lead. Family Time has dropped out. Richebour is still the leader. Richebour at the top of the stretch. Traverse with every chance to outfinish her. It's 50 Shade Time moves through at the rail. She's in with a chance, and here's It's 50 Shade Time. To the outside, Queen's Up, Traverse. It's 50 Shade Time and Richebour. Now Traverse with a short lead. Richebour, It's 50 Shade Time is flattening out, and Traverse is now clear in front. Traverse a 2-length lead. Queen's Up, Richebour, and It's 50 Shade Time chase her to the wire. It is Traverse in front. Traverse won by 2. Queen's Up was second. Close for third between It's 50 Shade Time and Richebour.
Traverse back in the winner's circle after dropping out of a stake. She'd won 2 in a row prior to that. 3rd win of her career.
Good job here by Christian Torres getting this filly into contention early. Richebour and Rafael Bejarano were intent on getting to the top in here, and it was interesting because she had never really been alone on the lead. She got to the lead today, and Traverse just kind of stalked her, let It's 50 Shade Time take that position along the inside, kind of pushed Queen's Up into a chasing, stalking position, widest of all, and did a good job kind of staying in the catbird seat, making the lead off the turn, and holding off Queen's Up for a nice victory. Relief, class relief helped today as well.
Homebred for Claiborne Farm. Nice to see those silks in the winner's circle. Traverse, daughter of Street Sense, out of a Blame mare with the victory. In the 4th at Oaklawn at even money. 3 wins now the last 4 starts. All the prices when we come back.
Here comes Malathon. Here comes Clariere on the outside, and it's going to be Clariere. Nest, much the best. She won by better than 10 lengths.
And Elite Power gets up to win the sprint. Outside it's Malathon coming to the wire. Who's it going to be? Here's the wire. Oh, the wish has come true. That one's for you, Cody.
Now more than ever, it's time to get with the program. When shopping for your next race prospect, consider that New York breds start with an advantage. Our New York breds run for serious green. At Saratoga Race Meet, New York bred maidens run for up to $88,000. New York bred allowance horses run for up to $100,000. And New York bred owners can collect awards of up to $20,000 per horse per race. So get back with the program. Seriously.
Flightline is in full flight. Flightline turns it on at the top of the stretch, and he's in cruise control.
And Flightline takes off.
Take a good look at this, because you're not going to see this too often, maybe never again. Flightline, 20 lengths clear.
World-class racehorse, world-class performance at a world championship event.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back. Traverse, homebred for Claiborne Farm. Christian Torres, Riley Mott. And Traverse, now 3 wins the last 4 starts. The only defeat coming in that Pippin.
Yeah, nice. She's turned into a nice little filly. 4-year-old daughter of Street Sense getting the job done here. You got even money on the button this afternoon down at Oaklawn Park. She's found a home on the main track. She's found a home going long, even though the maiden win came going 7/8.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she showed she can win on the front end. She showed she can win from just off the pace. It was a good ride today. You know, people will look at that result and say, oh, she was even money. She got the job done. You can give good rides on even money shots. And Christian Torres gave this filly a good ride today.
Young, up-and-coming trainer with a pedigree to be very good in this game. Standing by with Paul.
Yeah, I'm with winning trainer here, Riley Mott of Traverse. And Riley, you know, this is a horse that didn't have the best of trips last time out. And did you tell Christian, let's be a little bit more forward today?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously the 2 had some speed, and ours is fairly tactical herself. And I just told him, you know, whatever happens, just if she can get a clear run from the 3/8 pole, she should be, you know, in with a decent shot.
It's got to be even more sweeter to win for Claiborne, no?
It's, you know, in my young career, this will be a moment to remember, definitely.
You know, in your young career with your father, obviously, and, you know, I've talked to Norm Cassie about this, and you've expressed that you just want to be yourself. You don't want to be in your father's shadow.
Yeah, that, you know, I've taken a lot from his operation and the people I've, you know, had, you know, blessed to grow up around, but also, you know, I'm my own person, and we're just going to kick on and keep doing the things we know how to do them.
Congratulations. We wish you the best. He's with his wife and his young little daughter, Margaret, who's absolutely gorgeous. Riley Mott gets the job done here with Traverse.
Congratulations, Riley Mott. Obviously learned from one of the best, but that's a lot of weight to have on your shoulder, too.
It is. I am a big believer that Bill Mott could arguably be the best trainer of all time. That's the argument I would take. That's the hill I would stand on, and I would defend that hill.
Back here in New York, late pick 4 coming up. Carlos Martin and a young man who had a historic moment earlier today.
His grandfather was pretty good.
I mean, Castillo, we mentioned.
Oh, Amin, yeah. I was talking about Frank Martin. His grandfather was pretty good. Yeah, Amin had a good day today. Congratulations to Amin again. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting race. Kicks off the late pick 4. We keep saying this, right? Everybody had to jump back in after the pick 6. By the way, that carryover in that early pick 5 is $285,000 and change on Friday.
That's, Friday that racing returns here in New York. So
Friday to Monday for President's Day next week. We're open next Monday. So
that'll be the early pick 5 pool already funded.
Seeded. It's a seeded pool. Seated with some of my money.
So for those who are starting over this pick 4, non-winners at 2, 16 claiming race, 1-turn mile coming up, remaining half of the entry. Patrick the Great is out. So here's Bourbon's Hope, who will break third to the outside.
Linda Rice Jose Locano looking for their second win of the day. This horse was the 5-2 favorite last time, finished fourth after an abysmal effort two-back.
BC Glory Days has had plenty of opportunities to get through this level.
Katie Davis won the Broadway on Funny How, looking to get BC Glory Days to kind of relax a little bit today. Source ran off 3 starts back. See if she can be forward without running off today.
Long shot Centavo went by. Here's Ava Boy dropping down in class.
Centavo could be forward. Ava Boy stretches out from a couple of sprints to a one-turn mile. We'll see if he's forward as well.
Kong loves a fight, 1 for 18.
He would love for them all to be fighting for the lead and see if he can come flying late like the last 2 winners have done.
I like this one a bit. Give me back my bullets. Dropping Classman forward against better.
He's another one who could be forward. Jason Weyes, one of the 7-pound bugs here, could be forward as well.
Roman Otzi. Paul Barrow.
Finger Lakes connections, Paul Barrow, Oscar Gomez. This one stretching out as well. We'll see how he takes to the one-turn mile.
And a horse who was second sprinting at this level 2 back. He's got a short fuse.
Contrary to popular belief, not named after me. He has a couple of races going a mile. The race at Monmouth around the 2 turns, to me, considerably better than the 1-turn mile race here, where he beat just 2 home for maiden 40. I don't know what to do with him, actually. He's a big price at 15-1. He'd be the sneaky horse, because 2 starts back, Greg, on New Year's Eve, he ran a race behind Fenway that makes him a player in here. And with the parade of long shots we've seen this afternoon, right, starting with Funny How, the middle pick 4 that started in race 3, I believe the shortest one is paying $8,000. So
it's starting to feel like it's one of these. I still thought we've already had these monster upsets back to back. I thought with the exception of the feature, we could see chaos in a lot of these races still to come.
And let's not forget, Funny How beat Betsy Blue
and Banksting.
Banksting was like even money. Betsy Blue was close to 2-1. So while she didn't pay $1 million, she was defeating 2 fillies that had earned $1.3 million combined.
Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
And we'll head to the favorite in here. That's number 1A, Bourbon's Hope, who does come in here for Linda Rice. Do note, was a scratch back on January 29th in this same spot, listed as a vet scratch, but I never know with Linda for sure. But definitely looks like the favorite, deservingly so. Really fit and defined, really well-developed hind end to him, too. And just exudes confidence. And last time out, I thought he broke well, tracked 3 wide. Then he kind of got checked back going into the turn and then had to re-rally. It's never good when you're the beaten favorite, but I thought he did have a fairly viable excuse last time. Now, I wish I could warm up to number 2, BC Glory Days, because as Anthony said, he's had some excuses in his last few starts, and going back to his last one, which was at 9 furlongs, it was a day where you wanted to be on the inside, and the riders switched him out to the outside to track 3 to 4 wide throughout the majority of the race, where Phoebe's Frosty did complement the victory in winning yesterday against Tougher with a 69 buyer, and he kind of made this early move, too, around the turn, BC Glory Days, and he was just unable to sustain it. So, yeah, as Anthony said, hopefully Katie Davis can work some magic with him. I just wish he looked better. He just doesn't look great in his coat. He just is acting kind of dull, too. So he's one I liked on paper, but not so much looking at him physically. As we'll move on to one that at a price I think is a bit interesting. On the outside, number 7, Roman Otzi, kind of an interesting story with this horse. He was actually an orphan. And I know this because my husband trained 2 of No More Flags foals, and I remember sitting with their owner at the time, and he came in and was nearly in tears saying that they lost No More Flags when shortly after she gave birth to Roman Otzi. So he's had a little bit of a tough row to hoe in his life, and is a 6-year-old making only his 7th start, but I kind of like a little more ground for him. He's so big and so rangy, and like I said a couple days ago when Paul Barrow won a race, he might not have the best stock in the world, but I'll be darned, they always look the best. They are well conditioned, great coat to him. I think he's a little intriguing, getting a little bit more ground to work with as he was coming on late, going to 7. He's got a short fuse. I've seen this horse be a nervous wreck prior to his races, and today, well, he's on it. He's not washy. He's not worrying so much. And while I probably feel as though he is a bit better going shorter, he's not physically up against it, getting getting to this mile here today, I thought he made a better impression than what I've seen from him in the past on this particular afternoon. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thanks. Anthony, we got even money, or as I say that, jumps up to 6-5 now on Bourbon's Hope. Warranted to be that short a price here?
I'm kind of embarrassed. I've made some embarrassing selections today on top. This was another one. I probably should have picked BC Glory Days today. But
not if you listen to Maggie.
Yeah. And that's the problem. I just feel like there's a little bit more consistency is the wrong term, but Bourbon's Hope, that race 2 back, was just in over his head, and now he's back where he belongs, and he's supposed to get the right setup. I do believe, though, and it's funny, like as the day has pressed forward, that you got to open your mind up a little bit here. We see these horses all making up a lot of ground. Horses are making up a considerable amount of ground. Yeah, they're getting some decent enough setups, so I've opened my mind up a little bit here. I came back and played a late pick 4, and I used 1, 2, 5, 8. And the more I look at he's got a short fuse, the more I'm starting to like him. Now, I picked the race 1, 2, 5, 8 in that order. But the more I look at this, he's got a short fuse, the more I'm starting to like him a little bit. I'm starting to think this one-turn mile. The one time he went the one-turn mile, we talked about the race back in October. He went to the lead. He doesn't want to go to the lead. He wants to come from off the pace. He broke his maiden the next time from off the pace. Then you can throw the race out in the mud. Then he ran well 2 starts back. I don't know what happened last time. I do not know what happened last time. But I'm hoping the stretch back out's going to help. I'm hoping he runs a race similar to the 1-2 back. He has a little bit of an in-out pattern to his form, too. And if you subscribe to that theory, today's an in day. And the way the tote board's been playing,
some days at the
$30
racetrack,
makes
it's just, it has that feeling, and we're getting that kind of feeling today. It's just completely illogical horses that you can't make a case for. We've seen it now back-to-back races, and the races before that, as you said, even in that feature, the early feature on the card, not easy to come up with, although it was a filly who'd won 4 in a row, now 5. But she was facing 2 real accomplished mares in that spot.
First race was won by
potentially just continue.
First race was won by a first-time starter. Second race, 3 to 5 shot was a bad 5th. Right, and then a favorite hasn't smelled the winner's circle today.
It's in the air. We'll see if that trend continues here. Bourbon's Hope, 6-5 in the remaining half of the entry. Jose Lezcano, Linda Rice, and Bourbon's Hope. Going to break from post 6 in this spot. I thought the 6, give me back my bullets. If this horse can be forward, could make an impact. You're getting a little bit easier company. 6-1. Dylan Davis trying to get another W. Kong loves a fight. A distant second against the next out winner at this level. Last time we saw him in action. Chris Griffin, the call. Will the chaos continue on this Sunday card from Aqueduct?
He's got a short fuse, last to move in. All in line. All set. And they're off. Bourbon's Hope broke very well. It's Bourbon's Hope right out to the front. Following that, Rivals Gimme Back My Bullets in between horses. Down towards the inside there is Centavo. Tightly at the rail is going to be BC Glory Days. Up on the outside as he's got a short fuse there with Romanozzi as they back off the early tempo. It's Bourbon's Hope and Jose Lezcano. They're up by 3/4 of a length. BC Glory Days is down to the inside, is now taken second with Gimme Back My Bullets and Wyas out in the racetrack now. They move forward and they're going to take that second position away with He's Got a Short Fuse, who's now in third. Losing a touch of ground, BC Glory Days. Centavo's back to 5th. Then Romanozzi, the 2 at the back, Ava K's Boy, and Kong Loves a Fight. They're chasing Bourbon's Hope. Bourbon's Hope went 24 and 1 for an opening quarter mile. It's Bourbon's Hope to the inside, who's got the lead. Gimme Back My Bullets is right up alongside now as they approach 4 furlongs to go. Bourbon's Hope is back up by a neck. Gimme Back My Bullets is in second. He's got a short fuse, is rallying on from third. At the rail is BC Glory Days in tight Centavo. Roman Otzi has got a wide run there for Oscar Gomez from the back. Ava K's boy, Kong Loves a Fight. They're within 3 of the lead. Bourbon's Hope is still down towards the inside. Right there is Gimme Back My Bullets, who's now put a neck in front. Bourbon's Hope has not been asked yet, down towards the inside with a quarter mile left to go. 1:15.66 for 3/4 of a mile, and now Bourbon's Hope kicks for home. Centavo is unleashed in between horses, and up on the far outside, here comes Roman Otzi, has got a late rally as well. Bourbon's Hope, Centavo. Centavo is ready to challenge Bourbon's Hope. Centavo's put a nose in front. Bourbon's Hope back to second. Roman Otzi is trying to rally on. It's Centavo who's clear. Roman Otzi is up on the outside. Centavo, the prices continue at Aqueduct. It's Roman Otzi there for second, then Bourbon's Hope, and Kong Loves a Fight in 1:42.42 seconds.
We're looking at maybe the most impossible pick 3 that we're going to see all year long anywhere at any racetrack in this sport. Centavo 17-1. Omar Hernandez Moreno, Paul Chatterpaul. This one was 1 for 26 coming in.
This horse is 17-1. He could have been 117-1. I don't know how you find him. This has been a fun game we've played so far. This double paid $320. He's going to pay $328 doubles, $328. The pick 4, that middle pick 4, this was the biggest one, $36,000 and change for the middle pick 4. The pick 3 is only $800. I can't. I don't even know what to say at this point.
17-1 over 14-1. You know, Roman Otzi running big there. Maggie gave us that nice story on that runner. 6-5 favorite. Broke sharp and not to be.
You know, Greg, I think the pick 3 is 2 out of 3. I don't think that's a real pick 3.
Wow. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, the incredible story of a special day for these connections on Martin Luther King Day and the important impact of African Americans in this sport. We'll be back.
And they're off in the Curlin, Florida Derby. After 3/4 in 1:12-1, Known Agenda is now on to take over the lead. It's Known Agenda for St. Elias Stable. Florida Derby winner, Known Agenda.
We're back on America's Day at the Races, live in South Ozone Park, New York. It has been a strange Sunday here at Aqueduct. Prices left and right. Last 3 races. The The first 3 legs of the pick six, 26 to 1, 15 to 1, and now 17 to 1 on this horse, Centavo, who's now 2 for 27 lifetime.
This is something. I don't even know what I'm at a loss for words. You usually can't shut me up.
Still
Greg.
in last at this point.
You're still giving me grief for talking trash about Flightline on Belmont Day.
Oh, excuse me, I was looking at the 5. Here comes a 3, Centavo.
This is something. This
In
is
second, overtakes your winner.
This is something, man. This parade of long shots.
And, oh, there we go. Yeah, pick 3.
$7,579 for the old 313. The console pick 3 paid $842. How about that? There it is. The old 5313 pick 4.
You do not see pick 4s come back like that much these days. 36,000 plus. What a day here in New York. Let's go back to Hot Springs. Arkansas race 5 is next. 6 furlong sprint. Arkansas bred race 20 claiming group. Non-winners of 2 life condition. And it's Betty Joe, Ron Moquette, who won the debut, who's favored second time out. Let's go to Paulie.
Yeah, Greg, I mean, talk about the prices there at Aqueduct. Unbelievable. Again, prices here at Oaklawn. The lowest you can do here in the pick 5, excuse me, is to 2 at $15,000 for 50 cents. The highest you could do is upwards to almost over $100,000 in these pick 5s. I mean, just hopefully you're playing prices today on Super Bowl Sunday. Did get the favorite home in the last race, Traverse. Now here comes a tricky race where I'm completely surprised that the 7 Betty Joe is the favorite. Did I think that she could win this race? 100%. After she won her last race, if you go back and look at the replay, she looked like she was dead. She looked like she had lost ground on the far turn, and then when she straightened up, Bejarano just flagged her with the crop, and she rebroke and took off again. And I was talking to Ronnie Moquette after the race, and he said she's just a little bit crazy. She doesn't really know what she's doing. So for her to win first time out, I guess they're thinking, okay, she's going to improve second time out, and she's the kind of horse that is going to probably come from behind, because when you look at this race, the one's kind of a runoff horse in here, very, very fast horse, and it's going to cut out the fractions in here. I'm just don't know. I mean, he just keeps on stopping on the front end, or she just keeps on stopping. So, you know, where do you go to from there? I thought She's Amazing was very interesting in here. You know, this horse, you know, in his debut coming back, they protected this horse. Then they went to the 30. Not a bad run. Now they went to the mile on the 16th. They cut back in distance. And the way this racetrack has been playing, I think the 8's got a big shot. And I'm also think the 6, KJ's Pistol Annie. This is a horse that was up on the pace. And all the other horses that were up on the pace that day just absolutely collapsed. And she actually was trying to make a little bit of a move, and she sort of got sawed off a little bit. I don't think she would have been 3rd or 4th, but she would have been a lot closer, and I think she's got a big shot. So I'm 6, 7, 8 in here a little bit. I think the 7, obviously, I think's a bet against at 2 to 1. I think the horse can win, so I'm going to lay like 6, 8 and lay off the 7. Again, I'm surprised the 7's a favorite in here.
One first time out, but did it very, very slow time. The 7.
Yeah. Came home way too slow for my taste. Did beat older horses on January 14th of her 3-year-old year. You know, I love my man Ron Moquette. It was also at the time when the barn was winning races in bunches, and it's cooled off considerably. That's what happens, though. The game's so cyclical, Greg. When you come off the blocks as fast as the barn did, it was impossible for him to keep up that pace, and the barn to keep up that pace. So tailing off was almost destiny.
But, you know, on the positive side, he does not win a lot first time out. They get better with that barn, so it may be a positive sign. 9 to 5 now with the 7, Betty Joe. Let's take a look at the 10-year Sweetness, too. It's a big number here, 7-1 on a runner returning to sprinting. Went long last time out. This was back the last time she was sprinting, 5-year-old mare. It was on a muddy racetrack and missed by half length.
Yeah, it was her first off a July layoff. Like you said, throw out the race going long, even though she broke her maiden going long last year. She was just in way over her head last time. And she comes back quick enough, a little over 2 weeks. She's interesting here. She is third in a 3-horse photo on the money at 13-1 off that race back behind Navigational Beacon, who's back in here. Navigational Beacon, the blinkers come off. That's the number 5, who's a little quiet on the board at 10-1. I think there's a handful of ways you can go in here.
Shot the 5 had some reasons to like it. That last start was just tough to wrap your head around and makes me think tough to endorse. But if you take that one away, fact that she has speed and can be forward, takes the blinkers off, that the most recent of races, it was the wet track where she ran so much better.
Yeah, I think you do have to worry about that. Her wet track figure is close to 20 points higher than any other fig she's run. And I think at some point you have to attribute the moisture in the ground to that. I'll tell you the horse who I think could be a little interesting in here. It's the 8. She's amazing. She's a big price. She went to the bench when Oaklawn closed last year. She came back for the waiver. She ran behind these horses at 7-2. Then she came back. She got into a little bit of trouble. They tried her long. She's 11-1 today. She'd be the horse I would take a look at, because she was 7-2 against these horses a month and a half ago, and now she's 10-1. And they, I think you could poke holes in all of these horses, including her. So
Usually,
if you do that, find the price.
Now, when there's the 2 life conditions, it's easy to poke holes. The 2 probably going to be making a run late. Has a big issues though getting out consistently.
Yeah,
and had a problem lugging out, I should say, and got out slow last time as well. But at least there's some consistency with the form there, even though it was trying to break through and get that maiden win. But ran very good first time. Or I shouldn't say first time, but second off the bench here at Oaklawn last time out. See if that horse can make an impact from off the pace.
Yeah. She's a good price, too, at 5-1. Jerry Dawn. We'll see if whatever bugs her, if Tim Martin has straightened her out.
Ron Moquette's filly, the 7, Betty Joe, won the debut. Took money in that race also. And now the favorite right back. First time in against winners with Rafael Bejarano. Let's go to Vic Stauffer for the call.
They're at the post. They're off. Derby Day Lassie wins the break from Navigational Beacon and KJ's Pistolani. Little rocker between horses. Then comes Miss Dutton, Betty Joe, and Sweetness too, with She's Amazing, Jerry Don at the rail. Big on Broadway, Guest in My Heart, and the trailer is Miss Dutton. And Derby Day Lassie, like she likes to do, is rolling away going into the far turn. Derby Day Lassie has opened up a 6-length lead on Little Rocker in second. Then it's 2 back to KJ's Pistolani and Navigational Beacon. Betty Joe begins to unwind, and here's Betty Joe. Navigational Beacon took up sharply. It's amazing the riders stayed on board. Then comes Guest in My Heart, followed by She's Amazing. Derby Day Lassie has a double-digit lead with a quarter-mile left to go. We'll see if she can keep it up. She's been flying to this point. Derby Day Lassie settles into the lane, and she is still 10 lengths in front from to the outside Betty Joe and KJ's Pistolani. At the 16th pole, coming to the 16th pole, Derby Day Lassie is still 8 lengths in front. Betty Joe is second, and KJ's Pistolani. Derby Day Lassie is slowing down, but the wire is getting there. Derby Day Lassie, KJ's Pistolani, Derby Day Lassie. Derby Day Lassie barely held off KJ's Pistolani and Betty Joe.
Well, this was fun to watch. You got to love these tactics from these connections here. Open up on the field and just enough to get to that wire in time.
They say the best hop's a drop, and she had never run for this level before, and she used her best weapon, her speed. Eric Medellin put her on the front end, opened up. I don't think it was ever quite as large a lead as Vic Stauffer said it was, but it was insurmountable as the wire comes at just
Step
the right
past
time.
the wire, it was not, though. 7-1 in the end, Derby Day Lassie. Alan Milligan, Eric Medellin.
167, I believe.
Super aggressive tactics, and it pays off.
Yeah. It's the best weapon on the racetrack, Greg. Speed. That replay sped up just now. They were trying to get KJ's pistol Annie there. It didn't work. Derby Day Lassie held.
Wow. Large nose in the end.
Yeah.
7-1 on your winner to start the late pick 5, Derby Day Lassie. We'll be back right after this.
Warfront. On the racetrack, his accomplishments included this victory in the Vanderbilt at Saratoga.
It will be Warfront to win it by 2.5 lengths.
Now this son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires. With over 100 stakes winners, Warfront's progeny includes some of the world's most talented runners, both at home and abroad. Ranked number 1 by percentage of lifetime stakes winners, graded stakes winners, and Grade 1 winners. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Harris Farms, proudly standing Smiling Tiger, sire of Grade 1 winner Spiced Perfection.
And Spiced Perfection wins the Grade 1 La Brea.
Now with $12 million in progeny earnings and dominant performances from Don't Think, Just Do It.
Don't think, just do it. Burst away. Don't think, just do it. Wins.
As well as impressive newcomer Tiger Spice.
Not going to get to Tiger Spice.
Book before December 31st for a special discounted fee of just $4,000. Smiling Tiger, a leading California sire, standing at Harris Farms.
Tampa Bay Downs has a rich thoroughbred horse racing history in Florida dating back to 1926. Celebrities such as Babe Ruth, Jack Dempsey, and John Ringling all attended opening day. In 1981, Hall of Fame jockey Julie Crone won her first career race here, and in 2007, we saw Street Sense win the Tampa Bay Derby and go on later that year to win the Kentucky Derby. Featuring full fields, great turf racing, and a 15% takeout on our Pick 5, Tampa Bay Downs has live racing every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
We're back with you on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Features still to come here at Aqueduct, and more action ahead at Oaklawn as well. You can play it all with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Go to nairabets.com to get signed up and started. African Americans hold an important place in the history of this sport. They dominated the early days of horse racing, with riders winning 15 of the first 28 runnings of the Run for the Roses. Today, their presence is few and far between at racetracks. But among those carrying the mantle for the next generation here in New York, one of those is Kendrick Carmouche. He was part of an emotional and historic victory that he wasn't even aware of until afterwards.
We had a few black jockeys, not a lot. We had one rider that rode for Alan Jerkins by the name of Noel Winter. He was a pretty good rider. We had one other black rider that used to ride in New Jersey, McCurdy. But after that, I don't remember a lot of, what's his name? We got one riding right now.
Kendrick Carmouche.
Kendrick Carmouche from New Orleans. He's a good rider.
I always kept a straight path, man. I knew where I wanted to be in life. My dad was a jock, so, you know, I pretty much just followed my dad all around, you know, and just watched what he done. And after a while, I thought I could do the same.
There's not a lot of African Americans on a prominent level in racing, so whenever, you know, they could win a stakes race, or even like when Kendrick won his first Grade 1 at the Cigar Mile, I think it was awesome. I mean, the history of African Americans in racing is like a lot of people don't know it. Like, African Americans pretty much used to dominate the sport before Jim Crow.
What African American riders faced
in the early part of the 19th and 20th century was outright discrimination, and it parallels the story of African Americans in America, where they worked hard, they were able to achieve, but unfortunate to their success and jealousy and outright racism, they were pushed away from the game. Thankfully, as a people, we've been able to achieve and counteract that and be able to participate in horse racing in all aspects of America today.
Oh, this was a race which I always remembered.
Green Grotto fights his way back in front, fighting on his story to tell. All-Star at outside, Stall walking dude, Life in Shambles in Classy Class. Here's the wire, Green Grotto maybe. Green Grotto got it.
It was a unique experience to be able to present the trophy on Martin Luther King's birthday, and unbelievable that Kendrick was the rider of the winner.
The reporter told me, and I was like, wow, that's really something, man. I said, you know, that never happens. Like, that is history, just talking about it, you know. It gave me chills that it was Martin Luther King Day, Green Grotto, and my man Gaston Grant, you know. It was just like, it was heaven.
It was just an eclipse of a moment that echoed to the great past of African American contributions to racing, and being in that moment is one of my most cherished moments in racing.
It was a trifecta, more or less. I was part of it, and I told them, I said, this will never happen again in life on Martin Luther King's birthday. And I thought it was funny.
In this sport, All Black Connections winning on Martin Luther King Day, and Green Grotto would come back 2 starts later and win the Grade 1 Carter at 54-1.
Yeah, Chris DiCarlo that day. Kendrick won aboard him that 6 years ago. Wow. Yeah, Sonny's been here a long time. Kendrick's been on the circuit now 7 years. So, yeah, a historic moment, if you will. Right, Andy and I were talking about this yesterday. We ran the Jimmy Wingfield yesterday on the Withers undercard because of the Jimmy Wingfield should have been the feature yesterday because of the cancellation last week. Jimmy Wingfield won 3 consecutive Kentucky Derbies back in the 1800s. 2? You're giving me a 2 ball. Oh,
yeah, back to back. Should have won a third. Misjudged the wire a little bit.
Okay, there you go. All right.
7th at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, 25 claiming race. Here is the remaining half of the entry, the 1A. Senor Jobim.
Yeah, a little surprised. This horse is such a big price right now. Ships in from California. Way back when, this horse was one of Hall of Famer Steve Asmussen's bullets in the holster.
Rail to FF Rocket, Jason Hues.
Yeah, Lolita Shivmango won a race yesterday for these connections. We'll see what this horse does under the gun from the inside draw.
Caribbean Matty Olver, the apprentice.
Yeah, this horse had some speed going long, closed nicely to finish 3rd last time behind the streaking O Trouble. We'll see if he gets a little pace to run into today.
Relative to this field, this horse earned a big figure last time out. It's a big price, striking speed.
He used to have some speed as well. We'll see what he does today.
Karras at 6-1.
Yeah, closed nicely to get the job done against 20 in the mud last time. 2 starts back. Tried the streaking Jake Rocks last time in the starter. Back in for the tag today.
Horse to beat with today's results. You should toss Ragtime Blues.
Yeah, amazing. 6-5 right now. Off the drop, 2.5-month layoff. This horse was a vet scratch recently as well.
Print Rack, 2-time winner on the surface for Michelle Nevin.
Wasn't too long ago. This horse would have been the loose speed, and I'm not sure who Jose Gomez is waving to in the infield, but he's waving to somebody.
3-1 on the outside runner. 5 minutes to post. Here in the 7th, let's go back down to Maggie.
We'll check in with that heavy favorite in Ragtime Blues. Yes, as Anthony pointed out, was a vet scratch back on January 19th and subsequently a steward scratch back on January 26th when entered for $32,000. So drops back in here for the 25. Could work out to be the main speed here. And last time was part of kind of a pressured pace that would come back a bit overall. And furthermore, recently at least, when there's moisture in the track, this guy, I mean, his last race was fine, but at the end of the day, probably should have gotten the job done. But I just feel like back to a fast track after 2 subsequent wet track races should lend itself well for what he prefers. He looks great. but that does not seem to matter today. Like I said yesterday, Linda's horses are running well and they're running to their looks, but today feels awfully random. So I'm going to take a horse that is a 9-year-old. That seems as always a bit of an overlay. Maybe it means he's cold and dead on the board. But the 1A, Senior Jobim, he has been a scratch as well. Kind of the same scenario, much like your current favorite in Ragtime Blues. But last time he was declared a non-starter, he was held in the gate going back to that Santa Anita effort. And this is a pretty cool 9-year-old. I mean, he has more frequent flyer miles than any of us. He has run at 13 different racetracks from coast to coast, from north to south throughout his career. And I remember when, as Anthony pointed out, Steve Asmussen had him, he was a little bit of a live wire, but that's really not the case anymore. He's so well composed. And with these Jacobson horses, and I have learned that it usually doesn't matter what I think of them, but recently I've noticed the ones that I don't necessarily like aren't running quite as well, but I like what I'm seeing from this guy. He is fit, he's ready to go, his coat looks great, he's moving well out there, so I think he's a bit interesting here and has been running against comparable fields as this one here out on the West Coast, and certainly a lot of class to fall back on. Another horse that's taking money right now that I did not like the looks of, and it comes in here off a suspect race. It's number 8, Printrack. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he didn't like the conditions last time, and yes, Good Skate did come back to win, as well as Funny Joke with 75 and 67 Beyer speed figures respectively, but that's not quite what Printrack was running, and he just has kind of gone the wrong way. As far as his coat, it's dry and dull, and his weight isn't as good. And furthermore, I feel like this is a tougher field than what he's faced in some of his previous efforts, because most of those races were against restricted 3-year-olds, and now he's facing some, gnarly old veterans and respectable veterans of the game, Greg.
Are we finally going to see some form hold on this card this afternoon? That's the question here.
Gnarly old veterans. I like that. I think I'm a gnarly old veteran at this point, Greg.
You're too young.
No, that's very kind of you to say.
You can aspire to that.
I got a lot of gray in my beard, my man.
5-2 on Printrack. Likes to be forward.
That's too short of a price. I agree with Mags on this one. I have him 4th in here. I scratched into him for 4th in here. I had two snarky opinions today. They both scratched. I like motion to strike in here. This horse's last race just wasn't very good, and I'm the biggest Michelle Nevin fan there is. This barn's just not going well.
The win 3 back, but yeah, it just dropped seemingly off a cliff last time. It was a 50 claimer. It was a wet track. It was 7/8. But
see that win? You said it was 3 back, right?
Yeah.
That was on September 25th. So she's only run 3 times. This will be his 4th start since September 25th. No bueno, as I like to say sometimes. You can't take the price. You just can't take this price. A vet scratch, a drop from the 32 claim for Ragtime Blues. That's a tough price to take. As I've gotten older, I have learned that you need to be a little bit more open-minded when it comes to the tote board and not necessarily having to marry yourself to your selection. It's something I never did when I was younger. If I picked a horse, you can't. I can't bet Ragtime Blues at that price. Senor Jobim is I picked this horse 2nd. He's a great price. He's a great price, and I have some question marks about him, but he'd be the horse you almost have to play in here. And Maggie said so many good things about him. So many. He's the 3rd choice. The fact that he's 9-2 and Printrack is 3-1 is mind-boggling to me.
He's got multiple races to make him a contender, but 9 years old now. This barn can be hit or miss. Had a horse at different scenario. Oaklawn the other day, though. Yesterday looked like could not lose in that group and was a no-show. 9-2 here. Senor Jobim. We'll see how it plays out. Favorite, Ragtime Blues. Can we get a logical one home here on this Sunday card? Let's go to Chris Griffin.
Printrack. All in line. All set. And they're off. Slow start for Senior Jobim at the back of the field. Print Track has early speed, so does Ragtime Blues. They're going to be a clear 1-2. It's Print Track way out in the center of the racetrack with Ragtime Blues, who gets over to the rail, is now a neck in front. FF Rocket is in behind them. Here comes a move from Striking Speed, and Striking Speed is now secured third. Up on the outside, Senior Jobim has got this rally. Is going to be very wide, though, as they approach 4 furlongs left to go. The two at the back, Caribbean and Karis is 3 off the lead. It's a pace duel on the front end. Ragtime Blues to the inside, Print Track to the outside. They went 23 and 4 for the opening quarter mile. Striking Speed is looming up on the outside, is right there with Senior Jobim as they travel as a pair. It's another 3 lengths back to FF Rocket from the back. Karis is starting a rally, and the trailer is Caribbean. They approach a quarter mile left to go. Ragtime Blues is still a nose in front. Print Track, Striking Speed is coming after them out in the center of the racetrack, and Senior Jobim is trying to rally on as well. It's Ragtime Blues who's still finding more to the inside. Striking Speed is in the 3 path, is chasing for a final 1/8 of a mile. Senior Jobim up on the outside, and Print Track. Ragtime Blues is still in front. It's Ragtime Blues who's 2 clear. Ragtime Blues gets the victory. Ragtime Blues tight here for second. Print Track maybe over Striking Speed, and Senior Jobim in 1 minute 11.90 seconds.
Finally, a favorite. Ragtime Blues here, 6-5. First off the claim line to rights, Jose Lascano.
This is a nice effort today. I'll tell you what, that's a pretty good final time, too. This was shaded 112 on a track that has not been playing fast at all this afternoon. He just kept on going. He took a little pressure today. He was able to cut the corner. Jose Lascano and Linda Rice going to team up for their second on the Sunday card. They played his game. They tried to chase him around there today, and he was able to run them off their feet. Dead tight 3-way photo for second. It looks like the second choice may have held on here. I don't know. This got really, really close, Greg. I don't think anybody got by Print Rack, but
inside.
Wow. A very confident call.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so, but I mean, it was close, buddy. Gonna get big win though. Nice. One more look. Here we go. Well, there's so much equipment on the second and third place finishes. It's kind of hard to make out whose nose is what, who's doing what there. Yeah, you're right. 7-8. 78 to the hoop.
6-5 favorite with the win here in the 7th on what has been a chaotic afternoon. Price-wise, finally some logic holding. And the 8th win, 27 starts for this 6-year-old. Hard to believe, it was 2 summers ago when we saw Steve Asmussen become North America's all-time winningest trainer, 9,446. Now he is 3 away from another milestone. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Would you believe that champions weren't measured by rings, but by a crown? That the history books were written on dirt? That the greatest of all time was a horse?
He is moving like a tremendous machine.
Experience the magic at this year's Belmont Stakes as we honor the 50th anniversary of Secretariat's legendary Triple Crown triumph. Join the celebration at Belmont Park on Saturday, June 10th. Tickets on sale now at BelmontStakes.com.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. It's brought to you in part by Hillendale at Alapa. Thanks for being with us. Ragtime Blues. String of long shots comes to an end here. 6-5 favorite with the victory. Linda Rice first off the claim. With Jose Lascano, he has 2 today.
Favorites ran 1-2. Linda and Jose teamed up to win 2 today. I don't even know if that was allowed today. Favorites ran 1-2. Exactly paid $6.90. I mean, what happened?
Even with this favorite, this pick 3 ending here, $3,200.
$3,200 on a button. Oof. Remember when I used to hit pick 3s like that? The before time.
$470 on the win. 6-year-old. Son of Union Rags victory. Winning move stable. And our feature still to come. Take a look at this late pick 5 that, if you are alive in this.
A quick relief
got
from
a long
chaos.
way to go.
There was like a little Band-Aid just now. That was a Band-Aid.
Those that are alive got to be, even with Ragtime Blues winning, got to be very skinny the last couple of legs.
I can't imagine how many. I mean, if you found bells on her, toes with an all ball, which I'd have to imagine that's how you found her. Centavo. I know you use Centavo on a spread ticket.
On a deep
a
ticket.
deep ticket. Yeah. That's fine, right? But you asked for a single. I guess Ragtime Blues. If you singled Ragtime Blues, and you got a little lucky, but now you gotta navigate through these last 2, a fun allowance race, and then a maiden claim and a wrap it up.
Yeah. Oaklawn race 6, 2-turn miles to 30,000 non-winners of 2 Life claiming group. Let's go to Paulie.
Thanks, Greg. I was just in the bathroom crying it out over KJ's Pistol Annie not getting up for me there in that last race, but there's no crying in horse racing. On to race number 6 here. And, this is an interesting race. When you look at the board, you got the 9 here as your current favorite. And, at 5-2, I'm not in love with Whiskey Blue. Now, here's a horse that was over in California. We've been seeing a lot of these horses come over here, and it's been kind of a crapshoot. Peter Miller's been shipping horses. Diodoro's been taking a lot of horses. Now, he took this one from Mark Glatt barn. Now, let's get this straight. Mark Glatt is a heck of a trainer. And I would say among out in California, if you were going to categorize trainers, obviously there's Bob Baffert on the dirt. There's obviously Phil D'Amato on the turf. It comes to sprinting, I would put Mark Glatt up there with anybody there in California. So I don't know how this horse is going to translate here, the 9, but the public thinks so here at 5-2. I like the 6, Big Java. I think that Nick Juarez is going to give this horse a little bit of a jolt. Philly by Exaggerator. In her last start, she just kind of broke a little sluggish. She was 4 or 5 wide most way around the racetrack. She needed that race. The time before that, she's just been a little sluggish out of the gate. Again, I think today she'll break a little bit better. You get a more aggressive rider in Nikki Juarez. Michael Lauer had a win yesterday on the card, so his barn seems like it's heating up. And then the last horse I'll get to, Greg, I thought was interesting was Santangelo. I did play with a man named FP Santangelo, for all you Montreal Expos fans. You guys don't know that. But this is a horse here for Craig Compton and Francisco Arrieta that I think that actually has some natural speed and can maybe push towards the front end or could be very dangerous in here. So I like the 6, Big Java. The 9 I'm against a little bit here, and I think the 1, Santangelo, could be very seeky.
All right, Paulie, thanks. 6-1 on FP from the rail for trainer Greg Compton. Had the win at Delaware, actually going a mile. This will be the second off a short layoff.
Yeah. FP Santangelo, I love Paulie. Paulie's the best. He really is. That race at Delaware is around the 2 turns like this short. Different, though. Delaware is a 1 mile racetrack. This is a mile and a 16, so this is a short stretch. Delaware is conventional. Yeah, this horse makes sense. Again, Sarah El Badwi filled in for Andy today on Talking Horses, and we talked about these condition claiming races. I never open the form, look at my PPs, looking to beat favorites, but these races I almost always try to find prices because there's a reason they're in the condition claiming races. he's an interesting horse to take. I should say she. She's an interesting horse to take a look at a little bit of a price. For that reason, Ship It for the Asmussens would be where I would go in here. Steve claimed this one back. Had this horse for one start, and this horse did not run well.
We're showing the 6, but he's talking about the 4.
In
just
one
to be
start.
Clear.
Yeah. Big Java stretching out. Mike Lauer.
Let's get back to Ship It for a moment.
Yeah.
Because I teased to break. Steve Asmussen
Yeah.
on the verge of 3 wins away from 10,000 career victories.
Could you imagine if he pulls that off with Keith in the saddle?
With his son, that'd be incredible. Keith on board here to get him within 2.
99.98. I think he'd take 99.98. I think he'd take any one of them. This is Whiskey Blue on the screen now. This was your 8-5 morning line favorite. First time Robertino Diodoro. First time outside of California since this horse's debut back on June 13th of 2021. And this horse has spent, like I said, a year and a half out in SoCal, your old stomping grounds. I don't know what to do with this horse. 5-2. Kind of cold on the board for the connections, no?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Those last 2 efforts you're not in love with?
I'm saying off those 2 efforts, can you believe this horse isn't 7-5? I'm
Especially from that
stunned.
barn.
Yeah.
He has been a little cold, to be honest with you. Diodoro had a couple of wins to wake up. As good as he was, he had a lot of those wins early. J.K. brought it up on our show earlier in the week, and he's turned it around a little bit since then. But I believe he was something like 1 for 38
Ouch.
at one point.
Oof.
Or maybe he was 1 for 25. But he has gotten a couple of victories since that time.
Asmussen has another one in here, by the way, taking 2 swings.
Yeah, Martique Miss on the outside, the 10.
Off the maiden win. But you know what? You have chutzpah. I was going to say something else, but I don't want to get fired. You have chutzpah. When you're claiming an 0 for 13 maiden, and you want to know what? Steve probably wasn't happy when this horse broke the maiden last time because you kind of lose her friend. One of her friends is her maiden when you're claiming a maiden. You don't want them to win. You want to be able to run them for a maiden race, in a maiden race next time. Again,
for his son Eric, by the way.
Tote board's just really strange. Again, you look at this race in Whiskey Blue. You say to yourself, you walk into this race and say, all right, Whiskey Blue is going to be, I don't know, 7-5. All right, go from there. Landslid ran so poorly in his last 2, but her last 2. But Landslid was running against so much better 2-back, and then took a bunch of money last time and just was worse than 2-back. Worse. How did this horse run worse last time than 2-back? She did.
Interesting. Back to Ship It, too, for one of the 2 for Asmussen. He reclaims this horse.
Yeah.
Horse actually had a 71 buyer. That was a while ago. It was a couple years ago. But in terms of starts, it was not that far ago. 71 buyer and an entry-level allowance. And just interesting that he reclaims in here for himself.
I'm betting her at that price just based on the claim back.
Yeah. 5-1 right now and Ship It. Again, would get Asmussen to 9,998 career victories. Incredible. 5-2 favorite, though, the horse to beat. It's the 9 Whiskey Blue coming in for the West Coast with Robertino Diodoro. Vic Stoffer will kick off this late pick 4.
The last 2 are Expensive Liaison and Martique Miss. They're at the post. They're off. Grey Dawn Day and Whiskey Blue, Can Cutie, Ship It taking back, and Big Java. Landslid is next, then Expensive Liaison and Martique Miss, Santangelo and Lady Envoy. Clubhouse turn, and Can Cutie moves through to challenge Great On Day, but Great On Day keeps her head in front. Can Cutie is second by a length and a quarter to a pulling and tugging Whiskey Blue in third, now within a half length of the lead. Ship It sits in a good striking spot, 4th and 2 from the front, 2.5 in front of Big Java and Santangelo. Landslid is the gray with 6 lengths to make up. Martique Miss outside of her, Lady Envoy at the rail, and the trailer is Expensive Liaison. Midway on the backstretch, finish line is the 16th pole, and Grey Dawn Day is the leader. Grey Dawn Day ahead in front of Can Cutie. Absolutely no excuses for Whiskey Blue. She is poised and ready to fire from third and a length and a half from the front. Ship It is also traveling well, 4th with 3 to come. Then to the outside in Big Java, Santangelo's at the rail. 3.5 back to Landslid and Martique Miss. Lady Envoy, Expensive Liaison, and there goes Whiskey Blue 3 deep. We're going to have a new leader at the quarter pole, and Whiskey Blue tries to make the winning move. Finish line is the 16th pole, and she has quickly opened up a 3-length lead. Big Java moves up into second. Then to the outside end, Ship It and Santangelo. Whiskey Blue roaring off the top of the turn. It's a 3.5 length lead on Santangelo, who looks like the only one with a chance to get her. Whiskey Blue leads. She's shifting about. Santangelo is catching. Whiskey Blue, Santangelo. Whiskey Blue turns her away and wins. Whiskey Blue beats Santangelo. Big Java third, close for 4th.
Whiskey Blue, somehow you get 3-1 on this runner for Robertino Diodoro. Able to hold off Santangelo, ran very well. Paulie liked that one.
Can you imagine you wake up this morning, you're going to head to Oaklawn, you're going to turn into the program. So, I'm going to bet Whiskey Blue today. I'm
4-1. Oh no, excuse me, that was on the one.
I'm going to take
3-1.
I'm going to take 3-2 on Whiskey Blue today, pay for the day. Everything's going to be all fine and dandy, and they're going to give you $8. How did this horse win? How did this horse win and pay $8?
Coming up next at Aqueduct, 1-turn mile, New York breds, first allowance condition, and Joey Loose Lips. That's your current favorite. Rudy Rodriguez, Jose Gomez. We'll be back with the post parade after this.
Caraconte has the potential to be a leading turf stallion in America. Caraconte proved with Spenderella that he can produce an international caliber horse that can run all over the world.
Spenderella hanging tough with the advantage to win the Appalachian.
I've been fortunate enough to train some top fillies and mares. Spenderella is right up there with the best of them.
Spenderella turns it into a procession.
I think Caraconte is a horse who has tremendous potential.
Caraconte standing at Gainesway.
This season at Oaklawn, we've got more of everything. More of the top thoroughbreds in the world. More days of live racing. And the largest purses in our history. All at a completely reimagined Oaklawn. Come be a part of this historic season at Arkansas's only casino resort.
It's Rock Your World in command. Medina Spirit making no progress. And it's going to be Rock Your World to take them all the way in the Santa Anita Derby. He's undefeated and wins by 4.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Sequel, New York is a beautiful 223-acre farm in Hudson, New York, which is in Columbia County. They are particularly proud of their 6 Kentucky-style barns on the farm and the fact that they're birthplace of Tiz the Law, who won the 2020 Belmont Stakes.
Was 1 minute, 46 and 2/5 seconds.
Sequel New York stands 4 stallions: Freud, whom they refer to as the King of New York because he's been leading sire so many years, and Honest Mischief, a son of Into Mischief that they hope becomes the next King of New York. They also stand very useful stallions Mission Impassable and Union Jackson. The goal of Sequel New York is to help breeders make money in the sales ring and on the racetrack.
For more information on the New York Bred program, go to New York Thoroughbred Breeding and Development Fund at nybreds.com. We say it all the time. It pays to be a New York Bred. Terrific program they have here in New York. And here's a New York Bred coming in from Maryland. Late Night Larry, who really woke up in his last start. For Brittany Russell, Manny Franco will be aboard at 3-1. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
Kind of felt bad for track announcer Dave Rodman down at Laurel last time, as he had Late Night Larry and Trash Talkin' Larry in the same race. Never mixed them up once. Ultimate professional. As taking a look at the late night variety of Larry here in the paddock, he fits the bill, if not then some. I like what I'm seeing from this horse as he ships in against New York Breds for the first time. And he, as Anthony pointed out earlier in the show, skipped a condition last time. He was facing horses that had already won 2 races where he only had the maiden score under his belt and beat them quite convincingly. He never looked like he was going to lose that race at any point from gate to wire, and I think he might be hitting on all cylinders. Now, we'll see how he negotiates the 1 turn, because he's only ever been 2 turns when routing, but I don't see why he can't be just as good, if not better, at it, as just really poised and classy acting here in the paddock too. Do want to talk about number 3, Safalo's Mission, who will stretch out in distance for the first time. You know, he's a bit of a kind of a crampy horse in the prelims, in that he never looks comfortable walking around here in the paddock, and he never gets away well. And I'm wondering if actually getting more distance allows him to just find his stride a bit easier, not rushed off his feet, finds himself within the race a bit more comfortably. I don't love him here, but I do think the stretch out actually could play well into his favor. And then we'll look at the outside in number 8, Son of an X, who at times in his career has been very dangerous. Now he's 4th off a layoff, gets to a fast track. Not that he hasn't handled a wet track in the past, but last time I noticed he kind of was getting out around the turn a bit. And he was kind of never really persevered with in the stretch. So we get a rider change. We also get a French cut blinker on today. And if he can remember who he was once upon a time, I think he could be effective with that equipment change, Greg.
Maggie, thanks. We will find out. Post parade coming up. We're approaching the 5-minute mark to post here for our feature on the Super Bowl Sunday card. Joey Loose Lips, still our favorite right now, is going to kick off the post parade.
See what he does from the inside draw, stretching out to a mile, back out to a mile, I should say. Jose Gomez likes to put him on a front end. Maybe that's what he tries from the rail.
Yeah, last time he won 3 back, he went gate to wire. Dates Freedom 26-1.
Yeah, Omar Moreno Hernandez already put over a big price today. We'll see if he can go back to back. This horse paid over almost $60 last time.
Safalo's Mission stretching out.
Yeah, 3rd off the layoff for Linda Rice. See if she can get her 3rd win of the day with Jose Lascano. First time going a mile.
Storied Fella, gate to wire 8-length win last start with a big number.
Yeah, had the tieback surgery recently and then got the job done in a big way when loose on the front end. He probably can't get in front of the 1 from mid-pack here.
It's on a Dortmund. You don't see too many of those. A-Light, 22-1.
Yeah, big long shot in here. Should be trying the allowance company after failing to get out of the 3 life claiming ranks.
I thought this was the horse to beat based on what he did last start. Late Night Larry. It was at Laurel in Maryland.
Skipped a condition last time. Won the 3 life claimer when he was still eligible for the 2 life. That he failed at 2 starts back. I'd like to know where the name comes from.
That's what I. And Son of an X, Maggie made the case for this one at one time. Some big ability. Blinkers go on for this 5-year-old.
Pair of blinkers back to a fast track. Maybe he just doesn't like a wet track off the new off the layoff. Who knows? Maybe the dry ground, the blinkers, combination of the 2. He opened 2-1. And Randy has already won a race on the card. He almost won 2. Maybe that's part of the reason this horse is taking some money.
Well, here's Late Night Larry for Brittany Russell. and had that breakthrough performance at Laurel back on January 14th. Here it is.
Trash Talking Larry's in 5th right now, Greg.
Never mixed him up, I heard.
Poor Maggie. Yeah, it was a good effort. He's improved.
I would've.
He's improved with all of his starts. There used to be 2 P horses around here, Poshki and Potomac. I mixed them up a couple of times.
That would be very
tough. They used to always draw right next to each other. Anyway, Late Night Larry got the job done last time. He's shown gradual improvement on the Beyer scale in all 5 of his starts. He's tried 2 turns in his last 2 starts. He cuts back to the 1 turn now. There's a little bit of randomness to the Brittany Russell horses coming up from Laurel. She won 100 races last year. She won at 22%. I almost feel like it's a coin flip when they come up here. She doesn't win at 50%, obviously, but you just don't know when they're going to run well and when they're going to run poorly. This horse, everything points to this horse getting a nice setup, sits just off the pace, picks up leading rider, one of the leading riders, in Manny Franco.
And tactically can be in it too.
Yeah.
And just, I look at Thoroughgraphs a lot. The number he received in that performance decimates his field. But it's a one-hit wonder. Can he do it again? And can he do it on a different circuit?
And you want him as the favorite. Right. A lot of question marks for him. He was out of condition last time. That impresses me, the fact that she didn't care that she had to skip a condition. And he got beat pretty soundly. He got beat 5 lengths in the condition, in the 2-life condition, 2 back. She didn't care. Ran him out of condition, and he galloped. So.
And he's become the favorite now. With Manny Franco, no longer Joey Loose Lips, but with more on the rail runner. Let's go back to Maggie.
Yeah, sounds like you guys are trash talking up there about me, but Late Night Larry looks great, and he is definitely the horse to beat. But Joey Loose Lips, he did hold that favoritism position for a while. I like him getting that extra furlong. He is a big, rangy horse. And also Native was a prohibitive favorite that day. He kind of chased while inside of him, backed up around the turn, and then kept coming. So you think that more ground will help him. He's just okay. I just don't know if ultimately, and I know he's run second in this condition in his last 2, if he really is this type of horse. So I went to the outside with Son of X ultimately, but I'm really scared of Late Night Larry, Greg.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. When I played this Pick 5, and I'm long since out of it, I singled here. I thought he was the one you had to
really
take a shot with. Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
If he can come close to what he did in that Laurel start, I think everyone else is in trouble in this spot. You're going with the 8 as well, as is Maggie. Offhand, do you know the biggest – can you remember? You've called a lot of races, different tracks. The biggest nightmare that comes to mind for you?
I haven't called a lot of different –
names?
I actually haven't called a lot of different tracks. Just here.
You've called a few.
Here, Belmont, and Yonkers.
Well,
I might be back in Yonkers tomorrow night. The biggest nightmare?
Just with names getting mixed up, or there's not one that stands out?
I called a photo here wrong on February 20th of last year. Not that I remember or anything. Eddie Barker, I thought the horse was Home Jerome. I gave him the big call and everything. That was bad. That's my new dream now. My new dream.
Nightmare.
Well, the new dream is, when you were a kid, when you were in college and you used to dream about being late for a test or something, now the booth is locked. The horses change names mid-race.
Ugh.
It's brutal. I wake up screaming sometimes. It's really, really bad. That was the worst. The worst thing was calling the photo wrong. That's the last thing you want to do. And, you're kind of taught not to call photos. Just don't call photos. And
learn from it, move on.
I don't call them anymore. Don't not call those photos anymore. I mean, I got to know. Yeah. Yonkers is weird, too, because the harness is a little different, and the inside at Yonkers has a huge advantage. So I really stay away from them. And I've called one card there, but I might be back. I'll be there some point this week, maybe tomorrow night.
Son of an X, you and Maggie agree outside this equipment change for this 5-year-old. Can he wake up? And this, at one point, it's an outlier. This horse ran a 90 Beyer, though, in a stake at Aqueduct last year.
He was entered for $16,000 off the layoff. And I'm pretty sure 77 people were going to claim him. And they scratched him. And next thing you know, he's in a series of allowance races. And they were probably never going to run him in the 16. But yeah, You're hoping that it was the wet tracks if you're the Passauds. Because if it's not the wet tracks, at some point he probably will be in for a tag sooner rather than later.
There's the favorite. Just stepped in late night Larry. Can he transfer that form from Laurel here to New York? The 7-horse. It's our feature on the Sunday card. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
And they're off. Breaking slowly with Storied Fella at the back of the field. Son of an X has early speed. Late Night Larry. And here at the rail is Joey Loose Lips. It's Joey Loose Lips who's a neck in front. Dates Freedom is right there with Safalo's Mission in the early fray as well. And Late Night Larry. That's the leading 4 as they get set to come out of the chute. Storied Fella broke slowly but is now picking up some momentum. Is now taking the 5th spot as 4 off the lead. The 2 at the back are a light. To the outside of that one is Son of an X. Joey Loose Lips has the lead. It's 24-3 for the opening quarter mile. Safalo's Mission is right there in second. Dates Freedom has lost some ground in third. Tight hold there for Late Night Larry is in the 4th position, is moving forward with Storied Fella, who's going to be a touch wide, but is now taking that 4th position away, is making it 4 across the racetrack as they're approaching the half-mile pole. Still towards the back, Son of an X, and now the trailer is a light. Joey Loose Lips is still ahead in front. Safalo's Mission is right there to the outside, and Late Night Larry is ready to pounce. And here comes the 3-wide move from Late Night Larry and Manny Franco. They're ready to challenge for the lead. 49 seconds flat for that half-mile time. Storied Fella is under full drive, is running a decent race here in the 4th spot, is making up some ground, but 2.5 off the lead. Dates Freedom from the back. Son of an X is now 8 off the leaders. A quarter mile left to go. Safalo's Mission is still there. It's Safalo's Mission. Late Night Larry has not pushed by yet. Safalo's Mission finding more to the inside. Late Night Larry's got a final 1/8 of a mile to try and run by. Late Night Larry, Safalo's Mission from the back. Son of an X is running up into a placing. Late Night Larry is putting away a stubborn Safalo's Mission. Late Night Larry is up by a full length. Late Night Larry gets the victory. Late Night Larry, Safalo's Mission, Son of an X, and Dates Freedom in 1 minute 40.15 seconds.
Safalo's Mission was stubborn in here, but finally, Late Night Larry, Manny Franco able to put him away and get the win.
Late Night Larry, a midday winner here at the Big A. Yeah, Safalo's Mission, forward and aggressive today. Jose Lascano and Linda Rice just put everything on the front end today. And it worked a couple of times. It almost worked here. This horse ran probably the best race of his career, Safalo's Mission. Just could not handle the Maryland shipper, who wound up taking all of the late money, Greg, 8-5. That was around the price I think a lot of people thought he would be. You were right in singling him. Good job. And Late Night Larry now makes it 2 in a row.
7-3-8-2. What's going on around here? Back-to-back favorites.
I don't know.
We had
they might actually hit this pick 5.
26-1, 17-1, and 15-1 in the first 3 legs of the pick 6. Form holding in back-to-back races. Got a wide-open finale still to come, though. So stick around. Prices from the feature when we come back. Manny Franco, Brittany Russell, SAB Stable. Back-to-back wins for this 4-year-old New York bred son of Not This Time. We'll be back right after this.
Every hair, every muscle, every contour, every pulse. In the juvenile,
Essential Quality have won.
in the Belmont,
Essential Quality has won the Belmont Stakes.
well named.
Back on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage program, brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Back at Oaklawn, race 7. Approaching the 7-minute mark to post. Here's our post parade. Mile and a 16th, 50 maiden claiming group. Discovery Peak, blinkers on.
Blinkers, Ricardo Santana stretches out from a dirt sprint to a dirt route. The horse went 2 turns on the turf back in Ellis Park on
Another
debut.
chance, for Steve Asmussen to get within 2 of 10,000. Here's a first-time starter for Kenny McPeak.
Yeah, you know, this barn does not do well with first-time starters, but one of the 2 winners did come when debuting for a tag around 2 turns, so there's hope.
Hard to come by, went by for Donnie Von Hemel, and here's Eternally Grateful stretching out.
Claimed from Asmussen for Carl Broberg, first off the claim. Ramsey Zimmerman going to climb aboard this son of American freedom.
Speed against better in the debut. Diodoro with the 6.
Drops down, going to stretch out an extra 16th of a mile for Profound Impact, who didn't take much money first out.
Rachel's Caper went by, big long shot. Here's Leola.
2 sprints were out for Rachel's Impact. Leola gets Rafael Bejarano as Santana goes to Asmussen.
Stretch out with a 9 as well.
Yeah, 6 sprints to the route for the son of Frosted.
Talk about a key race. Pine Cove coming out of a straight maiden group. Top 3 finishers all came back to win.
Plenty of trouble at the start. Key race, as you said. See if he can stretch out successfully.
And Pro Charger rounds out the field.
Yeah, 0 for 2, beating a combined 67 lengths in his first 2 starts.
All right, Paulie. Pine Cove. How key was that race?
Well, obviously it's very key. I mean, this horse is 20-1 on the morning line and opened up at 5-2, and it stayed there. Somebody put $2,500 win bet to start on this horse, and the horse has been working great guns in the morning. So you're wondering if, you know, this horse is going to go to the front end, because when you look at this race, there is a lack of pace, as I drop my papers over here, in this race. And I just think that maybe the public's thinking Pine Cove can get to the front end and go, but at 20-1 down to 5-2, they're just, I can't take it. I mean, that's just too ridiculous. I think the horse will end up floating up, although he's about 1,000 clear of the 6 in here. Profound Impact when it comes to favoritism. And, you know, Profound Impact for Robertino Diodoro, is he kind of cold on the board again? He was cold first time out, but he drops for 50. Sun Thunder, the horse who won that race, came back to run second in the Southwest. So an absolutely key race. I thought it was a key scratch, no pun intended, with the 5, Bubba Can Dance. I landed on the 3, hard to come by. I just think the way this racetrack is playing, I thought this horse, you know, first time out of the box, needed it. With the blinkers last time, showed some life and got stopped with Tyler Bays. I think he's a major player in here. And then the 9 bookkeeper, you know, from 8-1 to 4-1 with Rocco Bowen, kind of got the same credentials as the 3, kind of dropping in class and coming from off the pace. But I'll just take the 3 at 8-1 over 4-1. And for the Super Bowl tonight, I was told to give a pick. Now, I've been at the Oaklawn Casino and I've been surveying a ton of people. I've asked maybe 145 people. 144 people have told me they love the Eagles. And I actually love the Eagles. But you know what? You have to make adjustments. I'm not going to play the Chiefs because I originally loved the Eagles. I'm going to go boring on you guys. I think this game is a dead under 50.5. Book it.
Good luck, Paulie. We know where he's going to be watching that game from. Mainline Sports Bar that he did the piece on yesterday in the program.
Okay.
I would think if you can get in, it's going to be packed there.
Watching at home with the fam?
I am.
I'll be having a cigar.
You going to give your selection before the end of the show?
Yes.
Okay.
I will.
All right.
I'll try and
we'll both give them out.
Keep it clean.
I thought this horse on our screen right now, 4-1 is generous here on Profound Impact. Put in a nice middle move against a better group in the debut. It's very tough to win going long first time out. Diodoro, second time, dropping in class, showed ability. And Sun Thunder, who was the winner of that race, I actually liked in a Triple Crown race coming out of that.
I thought Profound Impact had a chance in here. Tough draw first time out. Had to make that, almost was forced. The hand was forced to make that middle move right from that draw. no offense to Orlando Mojica, but this, I've been a Christian Torres fan since day one when he started out at Gulfstream Park with the Bug and Old Calder. And this kid's turning into a heck of a rider. I'm curious to say, I was between betting him and Discovery Peak, the number one. And I went to Discovery Peak. I'm hoping the blinkers and Ricardo Santana Jr. in the rail draw just put this horse in front today. He had no chance of getting to the lead in the sprint from the 9-hole. Now he's drawn inside. He has the race off the layoff. And I think this horse was meant to go long. Steve Asmussen ran this horse long on the grass first time at Ellis Park. And I don't know if it was necessarily to run this horse on the grass because, quite frankly, he does not have much of a grass pedigree. I think it was to run him long. And then something went wrong because he was gone for 6 months. He's a square price. I'm going to try him. But Profound Impact makes a lot of sense. His price just stinks. It's the only problem with him.
Wow, he was 4-1.
Yeah.
30 seconds ago. He's a 5-2 favorite now, the 6.
You know what it is, Greg? That price on the 10, Pine Cove. Look, I don't want to pick on anybody. The morning line stunk on him. I mean, this horse is never going to be a dime higher than 6-1. Should he have been 5-2? No. That's ridiculous because I don't care how key the race was. I know he didn't get off that well. He's 22-1. He overall has a little bit more of a turf pedigree. And he's now saddled with, after the scratch, the 9-hole. So to me, he's more overbet than Profound Impact is.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, it's not just he's coming out of a key race, though, with a 10. You also see, I mean, he's got a bullet drill back-to-back. Quickest to 61. I don't know how he did it, obviously. That means something for sure, and we don't know, but obviously he can move a little bit.
Yeah, listen, do I have any doubt that he's a player in here? Off the drop and everything? No. Would I bet him at 4-1? No, I'd rather bet Profound Impact at 5-2 than him at 4-1. No questions asked. Would I rather take the $7 on the 6 than $10 on the 10?
Paulie mentioned the 3 as well, who he was attracted to at 7-1. Tyler Bays, Don Von Hemel. Dropped in for 50 last time out, and it's been a relatively new equipment change. That was a second start, blinkers on. So we'll see with another try at this level. Can he break through in his 7th career start?
He can. Yeah, I think you can make a case for half a dozen of these 10 maidens. 3 and 5, by the way, at Aqueduct. 4 out of 6. Everybody else 5 out of 6. So we have a pick 6 carryover as well on Friday.
Early pick 5 carryover and a pick 6 carryover. A lot to handicap for our program next Friday. Let's set it out to Vic Stauffer. Here's the 7th from Oaklawn.
They're at the post. They're off. The bookkeeper has asked for speed, and boy, is he from a Profound Impact at the rail. Southern Sunset. Leola is close up. Pine Cove to the outside and Discovery Peak, and it's an absolute jailbreak into the clubhouse turn. Profound Impact will clear off and lead by 2. Pro Charger is next, then Rachel's Caper and Hard to Come By, and the trailer is Eternally Grateful. So Profound Impact is the leader. He's 2 lengths in front of Leola, a 3-wide Pine Cove, and at the rail, Discovery Peak, who takes back now, sits 4th for Ricardo and 2 from the front. Then it's a gap of 4 lengths back to the bookkeeper. The bookkeeper was sent by Rocco Bowen, and he is 6 lengths behind the front runner with Southern Sunset just inside of him. 3 more back to Pro Charger and Rachel's Caper. The 2 trailers are still Hard to Come By and Eternally Grateful. Profound Impact, a pumped-up leader going into the far turn, and he's running strongly with a 3.5-length lead from Discovery Peak, who has now moved into 2nd, but he looks like he's pretty much all in. The bookkeeper catches the eye, and here comes the bookkeeper. He's just gone into 3rd. He's about to go into 2nd, and right now he looks like maybe the only threat to Profound Impact, who is far in front at the quarter pole. Profound Impact with a 6-length lead. The bookkeeper is 2nd. Southern Sunset moves into 3rd, and Hard to Come By. Profound Impact, a final furlong. He's got a 5-length lead. The bookkeeper is closing in, and so is Southern Sunset. He's still got a chance. Profound Impact in front. The bookkeeper and Southern Sunset 2nd and 3rd, and now 4 lengths behind. Profound Impact. The bookkeeper trying to get him, but Profound Impact is still clear, and he's got it. Profound Impact in front. Profound Impact won by 2. Southern Sunset beat the Bookkeeper for second. Eternally Grateful finished fourth.
Profound Impact. Robertino Diodoro, second-time starter, dropping class, opened up a big lead and able to hang on for the win. Prices to come. We have the nightcap next here in New York. 40 maiden claiming race, 6.5 furlong sprint. Chad Brown, horse that debuted long on grass, shortening up on dirt for start number 2. We'll be back.
Here comes Malatha. Here comes Clariere on the outside, and it's going to be Clariere. Nest, much the best. She won by better than 10 lengths.
And Elite Power gets up to win the sprint outside. It's Malatha coming to the wire. Who's it going to be? Here's the wire. Oh, the wish has come true. That one's for you, Cody.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Nairo Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Nairo Bets.
Accelerate, a 5-time Grade 1 winner with over $6 million in earnings. In 2018 alone, he won the Santa Anita Handicap, the Gold Cup, the Pacific Classic by a record-setting 12.5 lengths, the Awesome Again, and bested a world-class field in the Breeders' Cup Classic. A grandson of legendary Lanes End stallion Smart Strike, Accelerate stands to continue his grandsire's legacy at Lanes End.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on our FS2 coverage. Good to have you with us. We have the nightcap coming up in New York. $40,000 maiden claiming sprint to close things out, 6.5 furlongs. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
You look at number 2 in here, Financial Strength. He would not be a favorite if anyone else trained him. And that is for certain, or if anyone else was riding him. Yes, does drop, but he debuted at Monmouth, and nothing against Monmouth, but it just, those maiden special weights are a little bit on the more weaker side than what we have here in New York. He was favored that day, and he was well beaten. It is more of a dirt pedigree, being by Practical Joke, who is most proficient with his dirt sprinters. The dam was decent, going a kind of middle ground on the dirt. This is her first foal, and the dam was half to a stakes-placed dirt sprinter to boot. Weirdly, does have a turf hoof, though, so that's probably neither here nor there. And he's very fit coming in here, but he's also fairly lean. And he just doesn't possess the muscle mass and conditioning that normal dirt sprinters do. I'm somewhat against him. Am I going to be surprised when he wins? No, but to take him at a short price is just silly. As we'll move on to the horse that I am interested in, that's number 4, Chess Spectacular, has just been facing far and away better horses than what he meets here. Comes back, gets the makeover, new gelding, Lasix, blinkers on. Now, I don't love the fact that he comes back at the 6.5 once again. I do think he's a horse that needs a bit more ground to work with, but as the shortcut cheater blinkers go on, last time I just thought he was reacting badly to the kickback, and maybe with the blinkers on, it does provide a bit more focus for him to just run more truly into the race. And he's incredibly fit, having not seen the racetrack, or the races I should say, since mid-November. I think he's very, very interesting with the drop in class. Moving to the outside, number 8, Bellicosa, is taking a lot of money. Completely different than what he was last time when I saw him, which was way back when in Saratoga, when he was really laid back, Well, you see him with the pony now. I mean, he's about to run the pony over, and he was really on his toes when he came in here. He is a little bit stronger behind, just a little bit stronger overall. He's really actually sickle-hocked, really cow-hocked, which means a kind of confirmation fault in which their hocks are too close together. So that could lead to him lacking some strength behind the saddle. Okay, he switches to the dirt. There is some dirt pedigree with him. The dam won a dirt sprint. She is a half to Thankful, who is an American Pharaoh, so closely related to Bellicosa. And she won the ladies handicap for Todd Pletcher. I actually like this horse switching surfaces. Looks more like a dirt horse. Just wondering if she needs a little bit more ground as she is a filly against the boys. Number 9, Brass Monkey, was a scratch in this condition when we saw Supercoach Fred debut. Brass Monkey actually has a decent pedigree. I don't love the Gormley on top, but is half to Congressional Page, who's a stakes winner, greatest stakes placed as well, kind of middle distance on the dirt. This guy has that dirt sprinter frame through and through, has so far been professional. And I know Pat Quick doesn't necessarily win with his first-time starters, but one that just made a great impression on me first time out that could run into the exactas. Great, Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. 7-2 favorite. The filly Bellicosa, who was 10-1 morning line.
That's interesting. I don't like her I don't like her at all. I don't get it. There's way too much going on here. You mentioned all of Maggie mentioned all of the faults there. I'll tell you what, it explains the $20,000 sales price at Keeneland in September. I think it does anyway. But yeah, she wouldn't be for me, especially at that price.
Now here's the 7. Peros, Linda Rice, Lezcano. Can they do it again?
I think they can. She's my pick. He's my pick, I should say. First couple of dirt races were against much better. Last time out, first time for Linda, off a almost 10-week break. Chased the pace from the inside.
This horse a little interesting, the 3. Just the fact that he has speed, he's dropping. He was in a race with Litigate 2 back. Came back to win, of course, the Sam F. Davis yesterday.
Gonna try and get Punchy home at a price, huh?
24-1.
Wow.
On a horse who wants to try and do it on the front end. We'll see if, I mean, you would think gets the lead in here. We'll see. Supercoach Fred not slow. The 6.
Fast tracks for the second start. Chased Iya around there last time. Just a 5-horse field after the scratches.
But has not stuck around late much, the 3. And that's why the big price. And this board tells you it's a tough one to close things out. And those who, and there's not a lot of them who are alive in this pick 5. We told you already a pick 6 into the next card on Friday. But even with the pick 5, the lowest payout in the pick 5 is to the surprisingly the 6, huh?
Yeah.
Supercoach Fred, and it's quite a bit. 15,946. Here is the 1, Arabato, first-time starter.
Yeah. Ned Paul Chatterpole looking for his second win on the card. Horse worked 3/4 of a mile last time over at the Belmont training track.
Rail to the 2. Chad Brown gets dirt now.
Yeah, first-time dirt, fresh gelding for the son of Practical Joke, who hasn't seen the starter since September.
This horse wants the lead, the 3.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get the lead first time in for the $40,000
A lot of changes with the 4. It's very revved up right now.
Blinkers, gelding, Lasix, drop down, layoff. Good luck.
Wow. See if that horse could settle down. Bears correct for Eduardo Jones.
Yeah, hasn't hit the board in ever. Well, one time back in September on the grass at Monmouth.
6 horse debuted in the mud, wound up second for Bruce Brown against Iya, who finally broke through.
Beat just 3 rivals that day. See if a little improvement first to second start.
Have nightmares about Iya. Race he should have won at Saratoga. Peros, 7-2 favorite.
Yeah, probably should be the favorite here. Drop down, second off the layoff for Linda. Second time Linda. Could be graduation day.
Here's the filly, start number 2, debuted on turf, sprinting.
I don't get all the money. I don't gets Lasix, get Jason Wayas, gets a turn to dirt. I don't get it.
And Brass Monkey, first-time starter, son of Gormley.
big fan of the name, big fan of the song, big fan of the Beastie Boys.
My
in
high school
general.
team came out to that song.
Really?
Hoops team, yeah.
That's fantastic. I like to hear that, Greg.
Park in my neighborhood, I believe, named after Mike D.
I like to hear all of these are the things I love to hear in my life. I need
4
more of
minutes
this
to
in my life.
post. 9th at Aqueduct. How will it play out? Can the Philly beat the boys in the finale? Right now, it's Peros the 7, the favorite.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. Like their sire, his runners have excelled on both dirt and turf, including these standout performers.
Poppy Flower is kicking in. Poppy Flower with the momentum. Nagarok, they come on for the finish, and it is going to be Nagarok.
Out of a Galileo mare, this dual surface star has sired juvenile stakes winners on both dirt and turf. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back with you on America's Day at the Races. It's brought to you in part by Naira Bets, where you can play all the action. Go to nairabets.com and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Good to have you with us here on FS2 as we get set for our final race that we're going to bring you here, this 9th at Aqueduct, to close out this Sunday card. Favorite, the 7, Peros, who we showed you going to break as well. Linda Rice, Jose Lizcano. Let's go back down to Maggie.
As we'll take a look at Peros as they approach the gate here. A horse in which last time he was kind of stymied on the rail throughout the entire running, but Eric Cancel got him to the clear then, and then he just went poof and evaporated into the back of the field. So I don't love the effort that he comes in off of, but possibly he needed it because he looks extremely fit here. Very composed, relaxed individual. I'm not going to be surprised when he wins. I think you do want the two real drop downs in here, which are Peros and number 4, Chess Spectacular, Greg.
That's the horse who was incredibly aggressive in that warm-up, Chess Spectacular, who's at 7-2. There he is again. And has finally settled down. Jorge Vargas Jr. for Charlie Baker. Blinkers, new gelding, getting Lasix, dropping a class, everything thrown at this 3-year-old. See if it pays off. Here in this finale, Chris Griffin, the call to close out the card at Aqueduct.
Brass Monkey goes in. All in line. All set. And they're off. Speed towards the inside, Golden Bird Forest. Also, Peros is in the early mix. They all line up on the front end here. Chess Spectacular's in that early fray. Financial Strength is trying to push through at the rail. They start to sort themselves out now. It's Super Coach Fred, who's got ahead in front. Super Coach Fred in front of Chess Spectacular, who's back to second. Peros is right there with Bellicosa. They're third and fourth, followed by Financial Strength, who's at the rail. Arrebato's in that early fray as well. Was tucked in behind that Chess Spectacular there. Is now challenging for the lead. Towards the back end of the field is Golden Bird Forest, is back there with Bears Correct, and Brass Monkey is the trailer as they work into the far turn. 23 seconds flat. Super Coach Fred and Arrebato, those are the top two. Up on the outside in third is Bellicosa. Right in behind them is Peros. Peros is in hand, is just waiting for a seam. Chess Spectacular is driven along. Financial Strength is trying to rally on there with Brass Monkey. Super Coach Fred will have the lead at the top of the stretch. A quarter mile left to go. It's Super Coach Fred. They went 47.58 for a half-mile time, but really had to work. And here up on the outside and ready to challenge right now, there is Bellicosa. Bellicosa is now challenging, but there's Peros, and Peros got loose. Peros is now sprinting clear. Peros was right in behind rivals, is up by a quick 6-7 widening lengths at the 16th pole. It is going to be Peros to win the finale. Jose Lescano, Linda Rice, they do it again. Peros wins this one in dominant fashion. Arrebato for second, Brass Monkey, and Super Coach Fred in 1 minute 19.84 seconds.
Peros dominates here in the nightcap. Lescano, Linda Rice pair up for another one here. Fifth time out, breaks his maiden.
Dropper beats the two first-time starters by an absolute pole in the finale here for the week at the Big A, my friend. Big margin of victory here. This horse put it on him quick. At the quarter pole, he went from fifth to first in the bat of an eye. I don't even know how far he won by. 12, 13.
What's your trick when you're in the booth and you're trying to call a margin?
I don't call it.
That was
dozen, double digits.
Tough one to come up with there.
Daylight.
Yeah.
I say daylight.
Dominant win. Peros pick 5 over close to $32,000 here, just shy of that here with Peros coming in the nightcap.
Please invest some of it wisely, and by wisely we mean into the early pick 5 and the pick 6 on Friday here at Aqueduct.
Yeah, we're back. Our Fox coverage 3 Eastern next Fridays when we return here in New York. Early pick 5, as you said, pick 6 carryover as well. This weekend, who impressed you the most?
I liked Hit Show. I'd like to see him get his act together a little bit the last 1/8 of a mile, but yeah, I like Hit Show and Litigate, both of them.
Hit Show. Brad Cox, already several Derby contenders. Looks like he has another one. We will see you next Friday. Quickly, your Super Bowl selection, Big A.
Rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think the Eagles are going to win.
All right, I'm going Chiefs 31-24.
Hope
Traverse, Claiborne Homebred for Riley Mott. Now won 3 of the last 4. Impressive again. Late Night Larry bringing that Laurel form from Maryland over here to New York. He's won back-to-back starts. And speaking of Hit Show, the latest Derby contender for Brad Cox. We'll see you on Friday at 3 Eastern.
War Dancer. The momentum continues with recent stakes winners on turf and dirt. Dancing Buck going wire to wire in the Grade 3 Belmont Turf.
Dancing Buck has opened up on the field. It is Dancing Buck by a half dozen lengths.
And 2-year-old filly War Saichi with a wire-to-wire win in the Ladyfinger Stakes.
War Saichi asserted her authority immediately out of the starting gate, and she has not relinquished